ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tong Fu. And now charging back out. Dindy gonna be spotted, and he doomed to Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him! He got him! Not gonna follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, gonna be telekinesis back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead. 4
heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven with this BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Amber Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60, still alive at the moment. And all the use, the dodge, Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slap. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen Vintage Jerax sets up onto FY. OG.
That this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Cignal, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Cignal. The Cogs burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Cignal down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses. And now they will take Roshan. Cignal is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal.
OG right behind Arme, gets the jump, finds the partner. Vision will not find a stun. Partner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the front line attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the back line. The BKB, they're into the back line. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. He is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a love, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 goes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder! By once again, the Sunder switches to life. Army's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. Seven from the side with a take on Army, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the die back on him? You bet your Nelly they can. Arme still very, very low. The blast will kill him off. But buyback. LGD want this now. LGD, or can they? Backing up? No, they're not. Terrorblade. BT's forward. The ball is up. Thompson needs to defend. X-Nova very visible. You've got a very, very low life Marana. But OG, they can't find the target. X-Nova, he's got the grip. He's got the control. He's got the kill. Thompson is down, but ES is up. Where the Echo slam. Oh, there it is. Forward. There's your slam. There's the dunk. There's the play. Jirax, the savior of OG.
1500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armless toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Cypher coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the low ground, on to 3, Stefan Laws and M1 are gonna get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd, he just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
Likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned up by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the Rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. Not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howl brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he gets, no, he doomed the Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, going to be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook, got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi is down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't. The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone.
down. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, boys, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment, and all the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen Finch and Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
But this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Cignal, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. They're going to bite Cignal. The Colt's burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Cignal down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they could delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dog! In from Universe! Into the faster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses. And now they will take Roshan. Cignal is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal. OG right behind Arme. Gets a jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. ES is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a love, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder by once again. The Sunder switches to life. Arme's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. Seven from the side with a take on Arme, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the dieback on him? You bet your Nelly they can. Arme still very, very low. The blast will kill him off. But buyback. LGD want this now. LGD, or can they? Backing up? No, they're not. Terrorblade. BT's forward. The ball is up. Thompson needs to defend. X-Nova very visible. You've got a very, very low life Marana. But OG, they can't find the target. X-Nova, he's got the grip. He's got the control. He's got the kill. Thompson is down, but ES is up. Where the Echo Slam. Oh, there it is. Forward. There's your slam. There's the dunk. There's the play. Jirax, the savior of OG.
1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Sep misses again, but there's the best bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the spirit cypher coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the long ground, on to 3, Sep as well as NM1 are gonna get chewed down, 3 dead, Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
Likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. It's not enough. Maybe it's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howl brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he gets, no, he doomed the Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, going to be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook, got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi is down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. And all the use, the dodge, Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen.
Range, and the Murata pretty much means that the Enchantress can only contribute using the impetus.
10 seconds remain.
Seeing the Phantom Monster this early on, of course, there are ways to deal with him. Here's like the Sven immediately comes to mind. To a lesser extent, here's like the Earthshaker as well. Well, the PL, there's sort of two strengths that he plays to. First is the massive amount of illusions that you have to deal with. It's extremely hard to find the right target. You have a lot of AoE. But the other part is just his survivability using Doppelganger, being as annoying as it can, very hard to actually lock down, hold in place, and it just chases you to the ends of the earth. Vice, I mean, quite clearly you know what they want to have. So do Cignal Ultra, and it's the very fast draft so far. Legion Commander coming up does do quite well against the Phantom Lancer. You actually deal so much damage, the overwhelming odds.
5 seconds.
Also having that nice bit of lockdown if you can find the real target. But against the Mars, I mean, the Mars does not mind being dual. Takes reduced damage from the front. And I suppose you can say, you have the Train Protector. You bust up the LC, gives them that extra bit of armor. Unlikely that you'll lose a duel. You do have the Mirana, and you can chain that arrow very easily after the duel there, but that's a solid 10 seconds of CC, and if you aren't able to kill someone in that duration, then you've really got a problem. But he's probably looking for something to combo up with a Mars. Phoenix still in the pool. Mirana can be good against the Phoenix in some circumstances, but I wouldn't be too worried about that. Gonna go with the Skywrath Mage. That's a very interesting one. I really thought Cignal Ultra would be the more likely team to pick up the Skywrath Mage. I mean, LC with the duel can really make use of the Mystic Flare. We're not going to be seeing that. Instead, we're going to be seeing the Ember Spirit coming out, which is traditionally one of the best counters to the Phantom Lancer. We don't quite see as many Battle Furies these days on Ember Spirits, but Maelstrom still works plenty fine.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
And as it stands, Cignal Ultra, I feel like they've got pretty good ways of dealing with this PL. To be perfectly honest, I still don't really understand why this PL had to pick that early. I think the only way you can justify that is if they really wanted to deny that from a bat. Ricky coming out here. Not a hero we see all that often, but when it does come out, it does either extremely well or does absolutely nothing. I do recall a game. I think it might have actually been Cignal Ultra, I'm not entirely certain.
5 seconds remaining.
Just a few days ago when we had a Ricky, he had a decent time in lane and it just went for non-stop aggression, and every single time, even if he got a kill, he would die immediately afterwards, and he ended up with like 7 deaths in the mid game on Ricky, and from there, it's kind of just neutered. So I'm always hesitant when I see these picks. And Ricky absolutely does not have the best defense against many things. When you have the Mars, great initiation, now the Beastmaster coming out as well. Of course, off the point of the Ricky is the fact that he changes the way the enemy play. He makes sure that the enemy has to carry a lot of sentries, can't really be farming on their own. And that part does make sense, but you already have the Mirana, who provides invisibility. You already have the Train Protector, who at level 10 almost always go for the invisibility talent. So it kind of redundant on that front. I'm really not too sure how much I like this Riki pick. The Beastmaster can do very well against the Riki too.
5 seconds
Long
remaining.
duration stun is pretty amazing, but then you naturally go for the Necro free. And that's always a very nice thing to have. Obviously, the Beastmaster, it's a bit weird against the LC if the LC's in the area, especially if you have a blink. You just blink in, get the Heart Dispel off, immediately removing Primal Roar. Honestly, for me, it's hard to say which draft I favor. I feel like fundamentally the Phantom Lancer is not going to have a good time. Even if he finds farm in the early game, when it comes to mid-game team fights, as long as Jamesy is able to find a decent timing on his Maelstrom, it's going to be very difficult for the PL to join fights unless he has some proper tanky sustain items, or maybe something like a panic to keep him alive. Otherwise, I think it's really going to be up to the Mars, the Scarif Mage, Beastmasters to sort of use their spells in combination, go for isolated pickoff.
Don't be mad.
While buying space for their PL to farm. On the other hand, Cignal Ultra, once you get that first level of items, the Blink Dagger on the LC probably, Maelstrom on the Ember Spirit that we were talking about, and then the Riki with his Diffusal, once you get this basic setup of item, then I think that there's really nothing stopping you. Run at the enemy and kill whoever you see. Now, if it really does come to it and you fall behind, Trinity Protector, one of the best heroes that's soloing out the game. Fairly unique ability to defend towers there, heal them back up. But on the other side, you do have Beastmaster, who's one of the best heroes when it comes to going for pushes. Great vision control as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Vice, I think, are going to be hard pressed in the mid game. They have to be proactive. To Vice, you know, they can't passively sit back and hope that Cignal Ultra leave them alone. I think Cignal Ultra, they know exactly what they want to do. Get their Riki a nice early level 6, a nice early Diffusal. Just constantly run at them in Vice.
That's what happens when I
We'll see how they can deal with that. Abad going to be taking the Riki mid. Not normally what we see. But I think Riki up top would actually really struggle against the Beastmaster. Beastmaster does decently against most melee heroes, but the Riki, not really the best when it comes to early last hitting. Often you rely on your Blink Strike to have that bit of extra damage, secure range creep, etc. So when you're just sitting there and laying the board, it can do a number run. Scarif Mage is all very annoying here to deal with.
The battle begins.
Funnily enough, Bounty Ring can be sitting around here, no one actually taking that just yet. Ember probably could have gotten away. That rune untested. But there's no point risking it. I'm sure you won't die, but you're going to be taking a lot of damage from the Beastmaster if he's able to get onto you with Force Low. Oh, we'll see how well Riki is able to lane against the Mars. I don't foresee the Riki having a particularly good time. But I think it's more that he would have a pretty bad time up top. Bottom lane, First Blood coming out here. Missed most of that, but they are able to take down Zenki. That's the power of the tri-lane. For whatever reason, it is going to be a tri-lane on tri-lane, not something we see all that. Wait, that's not a tri-lane. What am I talking about? Okay, they have moved Screen Protector up top. Okay, I think is a bit more standard.
Why prolong the inevitable?
Chain Protector, very low armor. Scarif Mage with the range advantage can really harass him. Of course, he hits very hard, but I think it's going to be hard for him to close the distance with 4 here. They do have the Mirana. The Mirana can one-shot the boar with the arrow, but they would rather have her bottom to one-shot any creeps that the bench could pick up. Goes also does. Ricky will be pushed into tower. Tricks of the trade will allow him to disengage safely.
Wait up. Catch us if you can.
Eris here has a fairy fire, still gonna go down to the Phantom after. Van does have the overwhelming odds, but 1 versus 2 is perhaps a little too much for him to fight against. Enchant therefore is slow. Denki's kind of low on mana though, can't really continue this harass. And Van gonna be getting a salve from his ally, will be fine. Got a big wave pushing in. Again, not really in a position to pull.
Dire's middle tower is
Once again, they're going for Eris here. Apparently, as Mirana, you have the advantage in the lane just from your very long attack range, but against the Ench, you really do have to stay close. And in these situations, yeah, you do trade well, but then you are going to have to gain distance at some point, and that's where the Enchantress perhaps has a better time. Arrow landing though. Both of these heroes taken extremely low. Legion Commander looking for the overwhelming odds, won't find it.
See me. You're already dead. You're already dead.
Obviously, the advantage of having your Ricky mid as opposed to safe lane. Thank you finally able to get that kill. Mirana hanging around for too long to wait to see. I think now we'll know that there is a ward. Just spotted her out. Meanwhile, top lane. God, I'm missing all these kills. James 1 versus 2, gonna be able to TP back to his tier 1 tower. That's fine. He probably will get a lot of regen from his protector. Comes out. For that, he's having a much better time than I expected actually in the CS department. He's gonna be taking a few spears as a melee hero. Fundamentally is quite neat line up there.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Definitely a bit of a funny interaction. Kamal also TPing out. He's gonna be fine. You've got a hero who enjoys being hit from the front, and you have a hero who enjoys hitting people from behind. An interesting bit of interaction there. About taken extremely low. No mana for the Spear of Mars, however. So Abadi will be able to chase on forward. Look, going for the kill, he'll actually snap it up. I mean, that wouldn't even have been a close fight if Mars had the ult, had the mana. But instead, ends up going down. 5-minute rune coming up here. Samael able to grab that one. It's going to be 3 runes going the way of Cignal Ultra. Beastmaster here in some trouble. Has the lead sheet. Grims is really diving here. Has the illusion providing vision. Can he close the distance? He'll be able to get that just about, but at cost of his own life. Jamesy here taking a lot of damage from the tower. I think he's going to be fine with 10 stick charges, but really does have to be careful. He's going to turn around, dodging that arcane bolt, and here comes a bat. He's got the Ogre Venom, he's got the Tricks of the Trade, squishy hero. Like the Skywrath Mage, practically no armor on this guy, 1 armor. Bat will take that very nicely. But now Bob, he's back in lane, he has his ultimate. Doesn't actually have detection though, so it's going to be very hard for him to kill the Ricky, but otherwise... Bat, it's not like he has a very good health pool. Just the first nuke coming out from the Mars can be very significant. He's going to be able to snag up a nice DD as well. Sentry in lane being provided by the Scarif Mage. They want to go here onto a bat. They're actually outside of Sentry range, but they might have enough damage anyway. Oh no, they actually had a Sentry up here. That's a nice kill with the DD. Mars early game is a very potent nuker just from the spells. Bringing in both supports now to pressure the tower. Very nice move from Eris to make sure that siege creep is not hitting. Otherwise, I think this is a pretty dead tower as it is though. Vice kind of struggling to take it down. A bat goes back in, going for the easy targets again, ignoring the Mars. So right onto Zenki, takes him down. Tower is going to go down. Bob gets the last hit, but now being chased by 4 heroes. Legion Commander has the duel. If she can force the Mars to face her, stop moving, that's where Bat can get right onto his back. I'll see here, has the base boots going forward. He's going to be able to get the duel. Bat from behind, able to snag up that kill. This whole time, Palace, he's been having a decent run on Phantom Lancer, top of Facets. Oh, Bat here going even deeper. These squishy supports fall so easily to him. Samael making sure that he's having his front to him, doing the best he can. Palace comes in, tries to get revenge, but Eriki not going down even though they have protection for him. Still, if you look at net worth, top 3 actually all belong to Vice. Despite the kill score slightly in favor of no Ultra. Grims, the bat, gonna be taking out the Enchantress there. Enchantress really did not know what hit her. The Mars does have his ultimate up, not even gonna need it because there's so many trees to pin Treant Protector against. Now going for their second tower here. No Treant, no heal for that tower. Trying to fight against the Beastmaster here. It's 2 versus free roll comes out. Onto Legion Commander, the pin against the arena as well gets taken out before she can do anything. But a bat this whole time dealing that damage. Eris, he's already used his arrow, so he won't be able to stop that TP. It's not a terrible trade there for Vice because they still have their Phantom Lancer farming. In Cignal Ultra, they need a little bit of work. They need to get that first round of items. The Fusel on the Ricky, the Blink on the Legion Commander, that's where things really start popping off for them. But before that, just with the levels, Vice, they have a pretty significant window, maybe 5 or 6 minutes before these items come online where they are stronger. I do like what we're seeing. The movement here from Palace. Not going to give an easy target to the Phantom over to the Ricky. Jamesy. Forced around it away. He's very low on mana. Can't really try and defend this tower. Not unless he gets more TPs. I think he has to go home. Heal up that mana first. And you know the tower is going to get taken down. Mars also working on his Blink Dagger. I think the Blink on the Legion Commander is more impactful than the Blink on the Mars. Eris, gonna be spotted out from the high ground. We'll be able to jump into the Roshan pit, where he runs right into a very angry Mars. Mars uses the arena. Eris resigns himself to his doom. That's okay. That's the Mars arena down. The rest of his team pushing the tier 1 tower bottom. Doing a very good job actually making sure that the siege creep is not on the tower. Enchantress creep now being taken over by a melee creep there. If not for that, this tier 1 tower would be dead already. It is going to fall in the end. Taking a few seconds longer than it would normally. And he's thinking about it. Wants to get the ward here. doesn't actually have the best backup just yet. It's just the Enchantress in the area. The Mars still does not have his ultimate back up. Now there is a Riki on the map. Doesn't have the refusal just yet. He is going to be stalking, looking for kills here. Gets right onto the Scarif Mage, playing forward. Going to be taking a lot of damage from that Mystic Flare. But can they actually take down the Mirana? Invisibility, they don't quite have protection for it, I think. They do have a couple of sentries, but they're not being placed down. The duel comes out here onto the Beastmaster. Very nice reaction there from Cignal Ultra and Vice. Felt kind of split up. Their Morse wasn't in the area, their Phantom Lancer wasn't in the area. On the high ground here, Bobby's looking for it. Here to get the pin there. That is a very dead Mirana. But now, can he fight against Van? Once again, all he has is the Enchantress. And the Enchantress before level 6 is just food for the Riki. With the level 6 is actually an entirely different story. The Riki really would struggle to get those attacks off, but I mean, it almost seems too easy here for a bat. Finding these kills left, right, and center. If you look at the CS, he's honestly not doing so well. He's getting a lot of value for kills. Bob gonna be finding the LC. Yeah, and he doesn't have that much follow-up, and well, now with the Beastmaster coming in, they should have damage to take Van down, and it's gonna be pretty close. Not enough there. That little bit of help from the Train Protector was enough. James, he gets the solo kill on Banky, but it requires to use all 3 remnants. And now the chase, once again. Ricky's so close to having that defusal. 1,000 gold away. Meanwhile, the Blink Dagger is completed on the Mars. A bit low on mana, but he does have his ultimate up. Just a sec. Very close to the Blink Dagger on Legion Commander as well. $2K net worth lead here. Oh, Dust comes out here onto a bat. But Enryu, I mean, without his Necro Bow, it's going to be very hard to kill him, although he does have backup this time. Palos coming in, does have his defusal. So the Dust, it has expired. Scarif Mage comes in, and the support is going to be the one who spells the end. And delaying the Ricky's Defusal Blade while the Phantom Lancer already has his own. That's a very big deal. Cignal Ultra, they just need this first layer of items, like I'm saying. They're so close to being able to fight back, but as it stands, Vice are just straight up strong. Got the Necro free flying out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Scarif Mage working on the Atos. Only a couple hundred gold away from that. And this whole time, Jamesy actually going for the Battle Fury build. This does mean you have a very slow build up. As opposed to the Maelstrom. Personally, I prefer the Maelstrom. And then you can turn back for the Battle Fury if you really have to.
Radiant are scanning.
Gonna see the Mystic Flare dropped on top of an arena there. Very easy kill onto the Ember. Trying to go for the PL otherwise, but they can't find the real one. Palos jukes them out. That's just going to be their safe linger. Going down is not much of a fuss. Blink here for our LC. Looking for some action top. Ricky, he has TP down bottom. Meanwhile, Grimm's not quite taken down there, turning around at just the last second. Providing the extra impetus damage. And the bats can't really take out Scarab Mage and all about his Diffusal Blade. Phantom Lancer still happily farming. Bit of a reversal from the first few minutes. It was 3 heroes on top of that network. Now, because of this slow buildup from the battlefield, he's actually not too afraid of the Ember. Whereas if you have the Maelstrom, I actually think a Maelstrom is worth more than a Battle Fury as a first item. You'd simply get more damage out of it, even though the Battle Fury costs more. It does scale better into late game. That seems to be the plan, using the Screen Protector to stall out the game as best they can. We'll get spotted out by the Hulkin, and here comes Bob. Knows exactly where the enemy is. Going for the Treant, he gets taken down. No more annoying heals for the tower. Mirana able to get out of that, but unless you come in at a very good angle, well, they are going to try and fight here. They are going to try and fight Van. He's got the Blink Dagger, but who do you really want to go for? Alright, we'll get taken down. A bad chasing. Van, he won't find anything to do. Meanwhile, another death onto our Ember Spirit. Off by himself, farming, and he just dies. That is not what you want to be seeing whatsoever. Almost 18 minutes in, and we're nowhere near the full battle for we still need 1,000 gold for that. I mean, we have the Diffusal Blade on our Ricky. He's going for the Battle Fury as well. I normally don't like that. I guess it makes sense against the Phantom Lancer. I think there's a lot of value in a Mantis style this game. For him to go Mantis style first and then back into the Battle Fury. And, well, I think I'm going to be able to justify that Mantis style roundabout now. Silence lasting so long there. And there's absolutely nothing you can do on the Ricky. Just have no solution to the Atos, to the Silent. Long gone were the days where you use the Diffusal on yourself or an ally to purge off like a Lotus Orb. Instant B-ward coming out here, and you. I think that's a big part of why they last picked the Beastmaster for this built-in detection. Not exactly built-in, but it's a quintessential part of. And Cignal Ultra 8k down. I mean, it's a bad situation, but they don't really need to win just yet. Their plan is to just build up on Jamesy, somehow scale into the late game, and don't seem to be too concerned as to how they get there. They're very good at holding high ground. And fundamentally, the Train Protector, one of the best defensive heroes in the game. Oh, Smoke instantly runs into a very bad position. And the LC Foot, she would be the one initiating. That is quite clearly incorrect. But losing just your Legion Commander honestly isn't too bad of that. He's still alive. Has to be careful not to walk into a sentry, however. And this whole time they do have Jamesy farming away, looking for that battle free. He's practically got it now. But will they be able to hold on to their towers long enough? Game Protector is annoying, but when you have a Beastmaster, your 2 towers absolutely will fall. Ember, he has the money for the Battle Fury, just needs to buy it. Problem is, the Battle Fury itself doesn't actually give you that much damage. Sure, the Thief is nice, but if you just look at the raw damage that you get from it, it's not a very cost-effective item. God Eyes onto a bat once again. And quite naturally, we'll have detection with that Necro free. And the dust on the Enchantress if they really need it. And committing the Roar, there is absolutely nothing that the bat can do. I think he tried his best shooting around with Blink Strikes, but fundamentally, he doesn't have any more tools beyond that. Looks like Roshan is going to be the plan here. Fights. Can take it decently fast with Beastmaster Aura. It's very safe because he has the Blats. They won't really lose too much HP doing it. Ember Spirit, he needs so much more. Does pick up the Dragon Scale, which I think is a pretty nice item to have for a tier 2 on an Ember. Single Slight does apply that. It's 3 ticks of 18 damage. So that's always nice. You have to be careful not to get close out, even a Dark Troll Summoner here to hold him in place. And for the Riki, using the Essence Ring, but the Van Brace is also not bad either. And here comes Vi. They've got the Aegis on the Phantom Lancer. He's definitely not unkillable. Just the Diffusal and the Manta style. I mean, if you get into a bad position, a lot of your summons around you, you will go down to a Sleight of Fist. Not to mention the Overwhelm Nod. An extremely powerful spell against the PL. Of course, it's not all about the PL. It does have a very strong team to back him up, start the fight for him. A bat here, trying to wander into his own jungle. I mean, does have a sentry. But again, no way to deal with this. The Atos, if only he had a Manta, he would be fine. That's just one of the fundamental weaknesses of the Riki. Really are reliant on that stealth. Now Palace taking a lot of damage in the front lines here. Yule Scepter, but in goes Bob. Completely missing on his spear. Now the duel. They need more damage. Just the LC cannot do it here. Phantom Lancer goes in, takes out the tree. And they do have the glyph running. The towers deal a lot of damage under this, but fundamentally they just don't have a bat. He's a huge source of their damage. James, he needs so much more in terms of items. Somehow not getting pinned there. Will be able to get another kill as he turns around, but he's completely out of mana. Phantom Lancer taking that all away from him. And only now does the Riki respawn. Riki coming in. It's actually a 2 versus 2 here. A bat, can he find the right one? Gonna be respawning from the Aegis into a smokescreen. Phantom Lancer now full health, full mana. Do they have protection? Yes, they do. Bat healing up there. Again, using the Blink Strike to juke things out, trying his best there. Grims already having used the Living Armor can't save him. Definitely a win here for Vice, although they weren't able to break high ground and they did lose their Aegis. They got the glyph out, which is very significant. And they keep their PL at top of net worth by a very comfortable margin. 50%, more than 50% actually, richer than the next post farm on the enemy team. Turning back to the Desolator here onto the Ember Spirit. That is the most cost-effective item going into the late game. I still think it's not quite as good as Maelstrom. Ooh, pin against the tower here. But Van in a good position. Is able to get a duel off. The Mars, he's protected by the BKB. Has the roar from the high ground. Abat, he goes in. Everyone's still trapped up inside the arena. Even with Mars going down. So far, it's a 1-for-1 offlaner for offlaner. Ember Spirit gets a lot of damage onto the squishy supports now, turning around for the Beastmaster. Beastmaster, no more roar. It's a pretty good trade now for Cignal Ultra. Yule Scepter into the smoke screen is a very good way of dealing with Phantom Lancer. They finally are able to take him down.
Even a master falters.
Didn't actually expect it to go so well for Cignal Ultra. I think the start of that fight looked pretty bad for them. But we're starting to see the soft underbelly of Vice. Skyraft Mage gets taken down by a couple of Sleight of Fists. Very low armor in that hero, and the Enchantress, somewhat tankier now, having gone for the casual chainmail. They'll do that Lotus. Phantom Lancer, I think he still needs a little more room to grow. The Beastmaster, he's as strong as he'll get, actually. Normally we think of PL as sort of the ultimate late game carry, but this time around Cignal Ultra, they've got some pretty good tools of healing with them. Ember Spirit, obviously, speaking of, is dead. I think they'd really use Lincoln's to help out with Roar. Then again, you do need more damage at the end of the day to deal with PL as you eventually get very fat. Smoke up here. Bob in the front lines has Blink Dagger looking to initiate. Gonna be finding the Mirana. Not the biggest kill. They are gonna use it to get onto this tier 3 tower. Now, chip damage does not mean anything. They actually have to kill the damn thing. Otherwise, the train will be healing it back up at bottom lane. Palace fighting 1 versus 1 versus 2 here. Making sure that the Riki is occupied. Making sure he can't come back to the attack. James, he has respawned, does have to be careful. The Atos Mystic Flare coming out. No good way to deal with that. Thankfully, the silence will mean that the Mars cannot commit. He will be able to use the ultimate now, get the stun out onto the Riki, and the bat gets taken down. Cignal Ultra really do feel kind of lost. They don't have the right tools in the right place. Fundamentally, they're very far behind, and although they have some nice hero matchups, you can't really fight against the Gil who's 1 full life. Well, Grimsy's pretty good at delaying the game. Not just the heals that can come out from the living armor, but also being that annoying split pusher, making sure that there are no creeps, whichever lane it is you want to deal with. And so far, Cignal Ultra, all they've done really is split the map, try and farm, and they do get punished for it. The Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster doing so much work for them. But I think Cignal Ultra with their draft, they're very happy to play from behind. Roshan not quite up yet, but I think not going to be too much longer. And sitting behind Jamesy, making sure he has that purge. Eris blinking in actually to go for the D ward. Will be able to leap out in time. Not going to get punished. Did have Legion Commander with the press the attack to help her. Really looking for this Roshan timer. It's very close to minimum. Spice, they've got map control, got great vision tools, and they are very far ahead. Would be nice of them to snap that one up when they can. And the Phantom Lancer, we know he's not invulnerable, but with the Aegis, it's just that much harder to kill him. BKB soon to be up on our Riki. I think we actually take the BKB over buyback. Exactly what Abat is going to do. Ember Spirit out by himself, looking for the push. Just trying to slow things out, stall the game. We really haven't seen this style of Ember in a very long time. This used to be the norm. Big smoke up here from both teams, actually. Smoke gets broken by Palace on the high ground. That's not really the target they want to go for. Moonlight Shadow doesn't really help since there's the Necro free units here anyway. The back goes in, it's a hazy retreat. He's got the BKB, the duel coming out here. Scarif Mage taken down. Enchantress very low as well. The Rory will finally come out. The BKB does not help you against that, and the bat he will get taken down. Ember Spirit in the middle of things, but he's got no mana whatsoever. Phantom Lancer with the Diffusal Blade. What a pain to play against. And this first phase, second pick, Phantom Lancer, getting the job done. Cignal Ultra, I think they had the draft that they wanted. I think if you asked them, they would be very happy with the heroes they were able to pick. But I think just getting a bit too delayed in the lanes, the Riki, not having a good diffusal timing, Blink from the LC being a bit late. If only these things had come earlier, he would have been able to hit. Very strong mid game, but Vice got there first to take towers. He used the Beastmaster as Necro 3, and well, the game state is as you see now. 2 lanes of Rex. I don't think Cignal Ultra are going to give up just yet, though. As I was saying, they do have a very good lineup for defending. Eris doing his best once again to stall things out. It's entirely possible that he'll die here, but that's okay. You are buying more time now. Roshan is up. You're well past minimum timer here. I really don't think Cignal Ultra can get there in time to contest. Fundamentally for Jamesy, oh, I do actually like this adjustment. He's entered desperation mode here. Not going for the Lincolns, gonna be going for the Crystallis. Just whatever cost-efficient damage he can get. I think they recognize that they have a problem. And it's not a problem they can solve with more defensive items. Remnant forward here from Jamesy, just going to be using that to clear the creeps. Feels like he needed that extra damage. Palace, I mean his illusions will get cut down very quickly there by Van. But at this point, the main hero himself is still stronger than the Riki. Even without all those illusions, you could literally disable his ultimate and you'd still beat the Riki in a straight up fight. In we go. Eris gets pinned against the wall. That means the Legion Commander can't save herself. Now, a lot of BKBs have been used. LC trying to join the fight, but there's no good target. Palace in the front lines with all these illusions. How do you even think to touch someone? Chain Protector uses his ultimate, gets pinned against the towers. And Palace, this whole time, he's just unstoppable. The Riki goes in, can't find anything. And Vice making it look easy. Cignal, in the end, again, I don't think this is a draft problem. I think they just couldn't hit their timings. And if they couldn't hit their timings, then, you know, what does a Riki really do? What does an LC really do if you're not looking for duels, constantly finding kills? These aren't exactly farm heroes. And that was contrasted with the Ember Spirit, who did try to farm, but just couldn't get there in time.
$1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the invest bomb. This time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out. They have the magnetize. They get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through. He has no infest. He has the armlet toggle. Needs to be careful. The Spirit Siphon coming out. The glimpse back onto aggressive. Gets him back in there. They get the grave off in time, though. The open wounds will come through. They have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole. From the long ground. On to 3. Step as well as them 1 are going to get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me? From the low ground.
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. Not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. How? Brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now Charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he gets, no, he doomed the Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it. Going to be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Na'Vi is down. Can you say mega creeps? Na'Vi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're going to cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dandy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's light of heaven with this BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead once, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment, and all the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen Vision Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
So this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Cignal, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Cignal. The Cogs Burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Cignal down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dog! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses. And now they will take Roshan. Cignal is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal. OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the partner. Vision will not find a stun. Partner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawkshot, she stuns on the way through. Is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid.
racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder! By once again, the Sunder switches to life. Army's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up to the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. Seven from the side with a Dagon army, but no! Thunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the die back on him? You bet your Nelly.
Between Cignal Ultra and Vice Esports. Cignal Ultra, their first game, their draft kind of fell flat on its face. I don't think that's a draft problem. In fact, I actually quite like their draft. But draft is one thing, playing it and executing it is another. They did hit timings. The Blink Dagger, the Fusel Blade was all very late. And Vice sort of just snowballed from there. Had a first phase pick on the PL. And actually, up until this point, I think Bat has been responsible for at least half of the PL games we've seen in this league. So Vice taking that away from him, showing them that even if you counter it, we can play the Phantom Lancer too. I do have a very strong opinion about the Ember Spirit as a counter to the Phantom Lancer. I think you have to go Maelstrom. Battle Fury, especially when you get it as late as 18 minutes, it's just a little bit too greedy. And fundamentally, the Battle Fury alone does not do much. You need Battle Fury plus a Deso, plus anything really. Daedalus, even a Divine Rapier for it to actually deal that much damage. Otherwise, in terms of a single item, you're better off getting a Maelstrom. In fact, Maelstrom into Battle Fury, I think, is totally legit. Now with the Doom pickup here, we absolutely might see Cignal Ultra go for the Phantom Lancer. Probably not in the first phase. And first phase Phantom Lancer is, without a doubt, an outlier. But the PL traditionally does well against heroes such as Doom. Very hard to find the right target.
5 seconds remaining.
Another Doom, also a very common combination with the Grimstroke. It's fairly obvious synergy there. Big, beefy hero. Put the Inkswell on him, run at enemy. And then you have the double Doom, of course. Fullbind, which doubles up the ultimate. Very obvious synergy, very obvious pick. I'm sure Cignal Ultra, having picked the Rubik, fully expected the Grimstroke taken up as well. Rubik is a very neutral pick, much like the Mirana.
5 seconds remaining.
Doesn't really say too much about your draft. And as the Rubik, yes, it can be nice to steal the Doom, but you don't really expect to get that ability. So, some of the other ones, Infernal Blade, it's kind of weird. I don't actually think you can steal that as a Rubik. Devour is definitely weird as a Rubik, and Scorched Earth is also kind of weird. I don't think the Rubik is, that great against the Doom. Theory, it can be amazing. You steal the Doom, woohoo. Even better, steal the Grimstroke's ultimate, cast it first, and then Doom them. But then when you start talking about, that sort of possibility, then anything possible is by far the best hero in the game. So how do you deal with the Grimstroke Doom? Phantom Lancer is still a very valid way of doing that. The Inkswell Pop, for example, if you're used to the timing, it's very easy to dodge. And the Ember Spirit, in that sense, is quite similar. It's very hard to get a solid connection with the Inkswell onto the Ember, but he absolutely hates getting doomed. I mean, one of the worst heroes to be eating a Doom on.
Radiant team.
Up there with, I like this Slark. In fact, even the Slark isn't that bad because you can't regen through it. Gonna be taking out the LC here. LC, one of those heroes who very much changes the game plan. Makes it very hard for heroes like the Beastmaster that we saw last game to get onto these targets just with that hard spell. And the single target lockdown is a hard counter to great many heroes, such as the Anti-Mage, for example. I don't think we're going to see Anti-Mage, but Legion Commander, a very unique hero in that aspect. Arc Warden ban is definitely interesting there as well. Either Cignal Ultra knows something about Vice that I don't, which is entirely possible. They're both the same level. But it could also mean that they want to go for something like a Terrorblade. Go for a very powerful push, line up the Drow Ranger, a hero who also does not like playing against the Arc Warden, mostly just due to that bubble. We'll see if I'm reading too much into it. Just as I say that, Terrorblade can be banned out. Really is very much a why are you banning Arc Warden?
10 seconds remaining.
Moment there, Ember Spirit. We saw being played in the safe lane, but more often than not, it's Ember Spirit in the mid. It's nice having that flexibility as well.
Dire team ban.
Beastmaster being taken out of the picture. We saw the Ember being very vulnerable to the Beastmaster once he got that blink. Fundamentally, a lot of the Ember Spirit's gameplay revolves around him dodging spells, manipulating positioning, fighting from a very close range with the roll right clicks if he's able to do so, get that flame guard damage out. Otherwise, positioning yourself at a safe distance away, close enough that you can go in if you really have to, or you're still contributing with a slight from a very good distance. And these hard lockdown heroes really change that for the Ember. It's so hard to commit. If you're too far back, then you do absolutely nothing.
Radiant team pick.
Taking out the Timbersaw is very interesting. I don't think the Rubik particularly struggles with the Timbersaw, and I really don't think the Ember does either. Does this mean that they're really going to go for the Phantom Lancer?
10 seconds remaining.
Generally speaking, the Timbersaw good against strength heroes, but also good against illusion heroes. I think those are the two main considerations for banning it out. Cignal Ultra, they don't go for either one of those criteria, I'd be very shocked. Unless it's support like the Mirana, which is again very neutral. The only other possibility that I see.
Dire team pick.
Gonna be going with the Ogre here. That is a very neutral support pick, so kind of fitting the bill of what I expected. Generally speaking, the Ember Spirit, you don't have that much synergy with the Ogre. But early game especially, you can get in, you can build some very good DPS. But later game, again, it's that range problem. How close do you want to stay in a team fight when you know that there's a Doom around? And so in that sense, you don't really make the most use out of attack speed. Lich being picked up from the other side. Lich and Grimstroke both have abilities which you put on your allies, a very limited radius, and that's where we can get a super scary Doom. Imagine a Doom running at you with Inkswell on him, the Frost Shield on him, slowing down enemies, and you can't run away, you get hit by the stun. And that's sort of the dream combination that Vice can come up with. And Cignal Ultra, I was going to say, that one way to deal with that is to kite around the enemy. Play from a distance, not let them get in range, wait for their cooldowns to expire, and then go back in. But the Slardar is very much a face you head-on type hero. Minus armor from the Slardar obviously goes very well with the Ember Spirit. Not to mention the Ogre giving attack speed to his allies. A lot of synergy between Cignal Ultra. They just need that one last hero who's going to be the one to make use of it. And the Doom, you generally think of him as a tanky hero, but that's because he has very good strength gain. Large AP pool, he actually doesn't have that much armor. And the Slardar with the minus armor is generally very good at that. Rule of thumb in most situations, plus and minus armor is more impactful at low armor values, less impactful at high armor values. And the Lich, well, 2 years ago, he actually gave armor. Now he gives protection against physical attacks. Or, well, just right-click damage, as you will. Which is a slightly different mechanic. Spectre pickup here. Once again, you know, a tanky frontliner melee. You put the shield, put the Yanksel onto a great combination there. And it does give you that global movement,
5 seconds remaining.
which often can be useful to deal with the likes of an Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit, you have a Remnant very safe. Go out, push out a lane. And eventually you'll be able to chip away at towers. The Spectre pretty much does the same thing. You can go farm and you'll be able to join your team wherever they are. Now sometimes the Spectre can struggle against heroes like the Slardar. Again, it's just because of that minus armor.
5 seconds remaining.
You're a very beefy target, but your beefiness is also your best form of offense because of the dispersion. The less damage you take, the more damage your enemies are taking. The longer you stay alive, the longer that applies for. So, being able to take that tankiness away from the Spectre really does mess things up, and that's kind of what makes me surprised about this Spectre pick. It's not a particularly good Spectre game. The supports, I mean, the Ogre Magi, he doesn't really matter, frankly, after he's used all of his spells. And the Rubik with the lift, if you're patient enough, you can disable the Spectre the second she holds in. And that's usually what the Spectre is good for, you know, hunting squishy supports. Otherwise, if there are certain heroes who don't like being in a face-to-face fight, then that can also be bad. But for Cignal Ultra, I think they don't have any problems picking a melee core.
10 seconds remaining.
Vice here, probably going to be the Ember Spirit in the mid lane, although it doesn't necessarily have to be. Wouldn't mind seeing something like a Kunkka come out from them. I think they could use a little bit of lockdown. And you can run in with a Doom, with the Yankswell, but it's nothing like a clear cut. You know, nothing like a roar from the Beastmaster that we saw last game. So I think Vice need that extra bit of catch. And someone to set things up for the team fight, allow the Spectre to come in afterwards. And they go with Mars. It's a very similar hero there, being that initiator, gives you that extra team fight potential, and means that the Doom does not have to be the one going in first. You have the Mars, you go in, create this chaos, and the Doom will have a much better time finding his target here. In Cignal Ultra, they go with the Anti-Mage. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect the Anti-Mage pick here. Now, some teams, they really do like having the AM against the Doom, but it takes a lot of confidence to say that. Now, if you're spamming your spell shield, you have just about a 50% uptime on it. It does cost a lot of mana if you're using it like that, but you know, you can argue, great, you reflect a Doom, huge cooldown expended, Doom taken out of the picture, and your Anti-Mage gets the farm without any pressure. But on the other hand, if he does manage to Doom you, you know, let's say you get stunned by a Mars and then the follow-up comes out from the Doom. Anti-Mage is one of those terrible heroes to get doomed, as we're talking about, very much like the Ember Spirit. You know, certain heroes in the game, I think the Spectre does not mind too much about getting doomed. For example, you have 2 passive abilities, you throw out your dagger, you hunt in, and the only thing that the Doom disables really is your dagger. Whereas the Anti-Mage, an entirely different story here. So we'll see. In pretty much any lineup, the Anti-Mage, whenever he's picked, or whenever she's picked, just says, this game is now about me. Definitely going to be taking up a lot of space. I don't think Jamesy can afford to go Battle Fury this game. Not that he can't go damage items, but the Battle Fury just seems a little too greedy for me. And when you have a Slaughter on your team, you know, minus armor, when you get the enemy to approach the 0 armor point, that's where more minus armor can be useful. So something like an early Vestilator, I wouldn't mind seeing from our Ember. Would also mean that he gets to make use of the attack speed of our Ogre Magi. At least in the early stages, before he has to worry about, you know, his survivability. Doom mid. I'd say we see roughly even proportions of Doom off lane, Doom mid, and Doom 4. This isn't too surprising. Very hard to push a Doom out of lane. But also, as the Doom, it's very hard to actually get kills. Even if you are able to beat them, you know, in the face-to-face matchup, it's hard for you to dive under towers because you don't have that much armor of 1.
30 seconds to battle.
Up top, I think Slardar, with either the Ogre or the Rubik, is a very strong lane. And the Spectre, I wouldn't say is a weak laner, but you need a lot of help. You're actually very strong if you have supports. You can put out the damage and you constantly get kills. Spectral Dagger effectively, because it has a slow and a movement speed buff, is very good at, you know, chasing down weaker opponents. But if you don't have a numerical advantage and you're against someone who's as strong level 1 as a Slardar, that's when the Spectre can have a bad time. Bottom lane Grimstroke, he is alone. Not too sure why our Ogre decided to go back to Bay. Am I missing something here? There must be. Oh. He is going to come out. Going to start doing Ogre things. 7 base armor, 7.3 base regen. Needs a whole bunch of spells 1 versus 2. That's okay as long as the bat gets the farm. Now the Anti-Mage, actually, a pretty strong hero when it comes to trading, if you're able to make use of that mana break. If the enemy is completely out of mana, or you're not in a situation where you can find a good trade, then the Anti-Mage suddenly becomes a very weak laner, taking a lot of damage here from our Grimstroke, but our Grimstroke doesn't really have any mana regen. He is going to run out of mana pretty soon, only has 1 more Stroke of Fate here. We're going to see in a second, I think. Not if his mana gets burned. Level 2 on the Ogre. Very big step up. Be it the Bloodlust or the Stun. Both work very well with the Anti-Mage, allowing him to get more hits in. The net effect here. Anti-Mage pinned against the tree, though. Will be able to blink out. Doesn't have a salve on himself, though. Has one coming out to him right now. Likewise, the Ogre probably have a salve. Doom looking for a good creep, won't actually find anything particularly nice. The Centaur, it's not terrible, it's a low mana cost, but it's a very long cooldown. So, there are definitely better options, I think. Hoping for the regen creep, probably. Satyr Tormentor, I believe it is. They are going to be going on to the Lich up top. Taking a lot of damage, but now with the Frost Shield running, he's a lot tankier than he was. Will end up being first blood here. Palos unable to find revenge. Meanwhile, the Anti-Mage going down bottom lane. I guess just couldn't get that regen out in time. That's a bit unfortunate though, losing your Anti-Mage. Now the Anti-Mage, you can play from behind. But if you're ahead, he is an absolute... I don't even know how to describe this hero. He's one of my least favorite heroes to play against. Now they are getting aggressive here onto Enryu, but we are entering that situation where he doesn't have any mana. And that's where kind of counterintuitively the Anti-Mage doesn't deal that much. Now there are certain ways to deal with With this as the Mars. Well, the slow coming out here. Just the right clicks and the damage from the Ignite. We'll do it. The Ogre Magi claims the kill there. Ignite does not care about how much mana we have. We'll see how our Mars chooses to build. As the offlaner, probably going to be going for a Blink Dagger very early, but there's a lot of options before you get there. Do you go for the Soul Ring? What kind of boots do you get? Just the brown boot? You go for the full phase. There's plenty of build variations for our Spectre as well. Not having the best of time in terms of harass, but she's doing okay in last hit.
Radiant structures are fortified.
We see a lot of Midases on Spectres these days. We also do see drums sometimes if they really want to go for some aggression. Big creep wave pushing in bottom. Ogre Magi not going to be there, not going to be splitting the XP. They're going to give that all over to the anti-mage, knowing that it's safe for him to farm on their tower. Meanwhile, just giving the bottle refill over to Jamesy. Every little helps. This time around, the Slardar is going to be the one going down first. But Eris able to even things up. Palos 1 versus 1. He does not mind this whatsoever. He's a bit low on mana. I think if he had mana for a dagger, he could have chased this to the ends of the earth. That will not be the case. Still, Spectre growing in net worth, second in net worth there, behind only the Doom, who has the bonus gold from Devour Blink in here. From Abat, gonna be going for the Grimstroke. If they take him down, the Inkswell goes with him. Now, this is something we've seen multiple times. We've seen a lot of Grimstrokes played, honestly. And very often they put the Inkswell onto a target who they want to save. And often that target will die and the Inkswell will be wasted. And the general thinking is, you're forcing the enemy away. They don't want to get hit by it. Top lane action. Once again, it's going to be onto Zenki. Has that Frost Shield, buying time for Palos to deal damage. Palos, though, still low on mana. Doesn't quite have what it takes to finish off the Rubik here. Certainly not with a Fateful damage reduction. In fact, getting bashed up here is going to be able to retreat to the safety of his creeps. But the Slardar, he is tanky, chasing on under tower. Palos barely surviving here. Van. Now Eris under the tower. They will be able to get that kill. Eris surviving on single-digit HP there. Two very big pickups. Slowing down the Spectre. They do have the Ogre stunned up, are able to take him down. A bat goes in, he can't really deal that much damage, but he's happy just burning the mana of Henry. Interesting build coming out here, going for the Mask of Madness. Or not, actually. Does he have that on his career? He's just going for the casual Morbid Mask. Now this is even more interesting. We very rarely see that. Doom comes out onto the Ember Spirit and knows he can't really get the kill himself, so calls in a little bit of help from the Lich. Of course, TP coming in from the other side. Eris gonna be lifting up the Lich, puts him under the tower, but Eris taking a lot of damage himself. Zenki will fall. And with the Doom expiring, Jamesy turning things around, triple Remnant forward. And he says, nice Doom. 3-minute cooldown expended. The Ember Spirit survives. Abat, he's doing okay now. Was struggling a couple of times, but it's... after that first death, he hasn't gone down. It's just been the Ogre making space for him. And with this Morbid Mask, with the Life Steal, he should be fine. Very often we see that being made into the Mask of Madness first. Which otherwise, just the Morbid Mask doesn't make that much sense. And he does have the Mon flying out to him. He will be able to farm in the jungle, especially, very effectively. And if you feel like you won't be able to find farm in lane, we do have a gank coming up top. That's the combination with melee core. You just dump all of those buffs, the shields, the Inkswell. Pretty easy kill from there. But Abat, he's doing okay. Obviously, having a delayed battle through is not ideal. But you can kind of tell from the build, he's not looking to stay in lane. Often if you're intending to sit there and trade, you go for the treads first.
I almost feel bad.
But skipping brown boots entirely. Now Palos up top. We do have level 6 on the Slardar. 3 points into the bash. Really does pack a punch here. Rubik unable to get the lift there. The silence coming out just in time, and with the TP in from Enryu, Van finds himself stranded. Now on paper, he might be able to TP out of here if he is lucky enough, but no, they commit everything. We'll be able to take him down. James E joining up, a bit late to help out. He does have a silence on him, but he's able to get rid of that. He has an arcane rune, so very understandably wants to get something done with it. Now pinned against the tower. Has he gone too far? The Inkspool on top of things. Jamesy, he's completely out of remnants now. And the tower will take him down. He absolutely did not have to go for that. He rolled the dice and the dice came up short. Now with the Doom coming out onto the Anti-Mage. No Lich to help out this time, but AM very far away from the tower. No allies can come in to save him. And with the Spectre, they take him down, and a very big win here for Palos. That's going to be a decently timed Midas. Not the fastest, 10-11 minute Midas. On top of Brown Boots is nothing too amazing. But he will have it, and he will be scaling later on into the game. And Vice, they have that Doom with the Devourers we're talking about. It's reliable GPM. Whereas Cignal Ultra, very reliant on their Anti-Mage to farm, needs a lot of space. Taking a lot of damage here actually from the creeps alone. The minus armor, he has 0 armor at that point in time. And Bats, taken extremely low, although he does burn a lot of the mana of the Spectre. He is going to be healing up, otherwise I think he might be in some trouble. Now, unfortunately, with his build, with this Mask of Madness, he does not need to be in lane. He can just head into the jungle, and he's just about as efficient there. Mars, trying to defend here, but being very mindful of his position, does not want to go too far. On the other side of things, Ember Spirit once again has a rune, and is going to be baited in by his own rune. Just like the arcane rune that happened top. Now this time there is no Mars to pin him down. We'll be able to get out safely. But it's definitely not a free game for our Ember Spirit. Mars did end up getting that Soul Ring. I think it's a sensible choice against an Anti-Mage. You do need a mana item of some sort. I don't think you really want to go for the mana. Up top, Van, able to take that tier 1 tower, hasn't really done much since. Looking for the Blink Dagger, it is very sensible. Get that Blink, go for fights that you know you can take rather than try and force something without. Well, I do have eyes onto the Doom here. I'm not too sure they can really die for this. The Doom, if need be, he runs very fast once he pops those drums. And with the Doom coming up in just a second, actually, I'm sure Vice thinking of getting something done. Got the Horns very soon. The TP's down bottom on the other side there, looking to defend. Here we go. Arena of Blood. Does catch a couple of heroes. Jamesy in the backline is trying to get something done, but the bounce is coming out from the Lich with the Chain Frost. That is just about as good as you can hope for. They are looking to clean up. So far, it is a 2-for-1 trade. But with the Doom joining up, Ember Spirit, as we were talking about in the draft, he hates getting doomed. Now, pretty much just a walking melee creep. The Anti-Mage joining up. He loves cleaning up these fights. It's just Bob left. Inkspool does a lot of damage here to our AM. Now 2 versus 1. Can our Anti-Mage do it? Grims is kind of low on mana, unfortunately. They won't be able to get the chase. In fact, Bobby's thinking of turning around. Even without his mana, just the fact that he's so farmed means that he can actually take the right-click fight against the Anti-Mage when the AM is low HP. Ends up being a slight win for Cignal Ultra. Losing the Spectre is by far the most painful part of that. Does put our Slardar dangerously close to having a Blink Dagger. It's going to be a pretty well-timed Blink Dagger for an off-lane Slardar. Cooldown's clearly not in favor of Vice. Ember Spirit, no more fancy right-click builds for him, just going with arguably the most solid item choice. Spirit Vessel here gives you that extra bit of tankiness, extra bit of sustain. Is going to be running into the silence, and well, the Doom he doesn't commit. Absolutely could have tried to get that stun, but it's not like they had Doom for the follow-up. Didn't really have their teammates in the area. Lardar now, he has the blink flying out to him. Gonna make sure that there's no vision in their jungle, and they go for a big smoke up. Pretty much any target is a good target here because it means that there's going to be so much more space for the anti-mage. Any kill is going to be huge. And we go right onto the Lich. Not a bad target, but they're not able to burst him down immediately. He turns around with the Chain Frost. Is bouncing to some creeps. Jamesy right in onto the backline as well. But here comes Palos. 2 supports down at the cost of the Slardar. We're not done just yet. And we are able to even things out. Eris does get a very nice steal, and the Spear of Mars takes a illusion rune as well. Does have Jamesy coming in. Jamesy only 1 more remnant left, a bit hesitant to commit it. They won't be able to save his support. 3-for-2 trade in the end. I also don't think it's too terrible for Cignal Ultra. They still have their anti-mage farming, and that's the most important part. On the other hand, for Vice, they didn't actually have Dune up at that team fight, which means it's going to be available now, and they can definitely try and force something. Now that they know there's the blink available on the Slardar, it's going to be much harder for them to get close out. And the Mars approaching his own blink, actually, so that's going to be a very nice initiation tool for them. You go and have that Chaos, allow the Spectre to choose your target carefully. Very consistently, though, we are seeing the supports die, both teams. Very much targeting the supports here. Anti-Mage Battle Fury flying out. They know that Samuel's in the area. Gonna be using a Remnant 4. They do know he's in the area. Now the root comes out, they have vision. The stun will be the end of him. A bat comes in to take the last hit, of course. Just position 1 things there. And now you have that Battle Fury. 16-minute Battle Fury is not that amazing. But you do have the Mask of Madness. We've definitely seen more farmed anti-mages at this point. I think the earliest we've seen is maybe a 18-minute Treads Battle Fury Manta style. That's not going to be happening this game. Spectre, pretty tanky here, especially with the Lich Shield. Not going to fall just yet. Everyone inside the arena. Spectre gets pinned to a wall by a stolen spear. Will get taken down. Double Doom did come out here, and the Chain Frost bouncing. There's so much damage between these 2 bound targets. And Ryu picks up the triple kill. It's a very dirty combination there. The double Chain Frost, double Doom, but Cignal Ultra, they have no choice but to eat it if they want to make space for a bat. A bat, he's got a lot more work to do. He's going to be able to fight back here. Van goes in, does not have any backup here. Just teasing the enemy, he gets pulled in by the Sinister Gaze. Bat finally decides to join the fight. Zenki is very low in mana. This is going to be a pretty big mana void if he can get it, but he gets silenced up. And now the Spectre, once right on top of him, a bat, he has to run. Grim's trying to back him up, Eris as well, but these supports, what have they gotten themselves into? Jamesy from the high ground. Spectre is tanky, however, very hard to take down. Jamesy doesn't really have the most damage with his build right now. They're trying to go for the Doom. Spear will finish him off. Once again, that is the stolen spear. The bat uses his ultimates on Enryu, which does absolutely nothing other than a mini stun. They will be able to get the kill eventually. Still, the Spectre gets away, healing up with the salve. Still has that Midas running.
Dire are scanning.
But the only thing that matters, once again, is the anti-mage. He is top of net worth. I mean, he better be. And following him are 3 Dire cores getting forward here onto the Lich. Bit of mispositioning there, I think. I think it was very easy to predict that movement. And unless they were really thinking of defending that tier 1 tower, not really worth going for.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Lift up here onto our Spectre. Easy follow-up with the Spear of Mars. Now Van coming in, he's got the minus armor. He just needs a couple of bashes. One bash. His attack speed isn't actually too high, and certainly not with the stuns coming out from the Grimstroke. But Jamesy, we're looking for the finish. He will find it. Another big arena. They have the Doom up in 7 seconds, but they won't need it to clean up. Now it's just Jamesy. He has that Remnant. Is going to be trying to TP out of there, I think. But he doesn't actually have a TP. And he's very low on mana. No way to use more Remnants to get forward. It's only a matter of time until he goes down. But time is not a bad thing for them to have. Time for their anti-mage to continue the farm war. And in fact, they're expecting Jamesy to get out of there. They don't know he did not have a TP. And in fact, they're not even going to find the Ogre. They will find his ward, which is nice, but Vice losing their Spectre cannot be happy about that without getting any big kills in return. Well, Doom is up. One's up very soon. It's not the biggest of gold leads, but you always have to feel uncomfortable in an anti-game. Honestly, anti-mage late game is not that strong. It's simply the fact that he or she reaches the late game faster than other heroes. And Vice, if they're shutting down the anti-mage, they can be happy taking it late, but as a matter of fact, they have not killed the anti-mage beyond the first kill. Blink in here from the Mars, going to be an easy initiation onto the Rubik. Then again, the Rubik, he's not the most valuable target. Hard to call that a win. And in fact, Cignal Ultra, they know that as well. The Rubik, he's not that important to their team fight. They're even think of re-engaging. But they won't find the right targets. Abad's not really in a position to join. Interesting choice here from our anti-mage, going to be going for the Sanjin Yasha. Mantis style, by far the more popular choice here. Both in probably 90% of anti-mage games at least. But having the status resistance come out means that he'll be taking a shorter Doom. And I think the plan here is to go for the Satanic as well. Ogre Magi gonna get jump time. And no one cares. Well, it's information for the anti-mage. He knows he can take one more wave. That alone is probably worth it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And obviously, as the Ogre, dying's not great, but really you are just a glorified E button. All you have to do is survive long enough into the late game, max out your Bloodlust, and put it on your Slardar. Get those bashes going and put it on your anti-mage. Back to the Sanjin Yasha. I think it makes a lot of sense for our AM to go into Panic afterward. Seeing as he already has the Mask of Madness, which can be disassembled. And status resistance does stack multiplicatively, so it's not quite as good as you'd expect it to be. But I think it still works very well against heroes like the Doom. Gonna be going for a smoke up here. Very easy target presenting itself, but Zenki, he has a Ghost Scepter. Will be able to buy some time. But is going to get Fire Blasted down instead. Now hunting for more. No! In goes our Mars, but he doesn't have any mana for the rest of his spells. Could not get the Spear out in time, and he's only just used his ultimate and not really achieved that much else afterwards. Now the Doom did come out onto the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit does get taken down. Sorry, not the Ember Spirit, the Anti-Mage. And without the Anti-Mage, it's already a loss here for Cignal Ultra. Very hard for them to continue fighting. Now Vanny is very strong. He still has the Bloodlust running on him. And it looks like he'll actually be enough. I did not expect this to happen, but Van, without any real items, just the Blink Dagger, able to clean up that fight, and I really underestimated the damage output of the Slardar. And Vice, obviously getting wiped is not great, but they did take out the two big cores. And I have a lot of newfound respect for this fishy. Of course, it wasn't just him, you know, it was the Bloodlust as well. 2 points in that. Rubik helping out a little bit too. Was able to steal the Doom. Very nice spell. You won't really have it for that long. Maybe a minute left when the cooldown is up. But it's obviously one of the stronger spells you can field. And Palace, he hasn't been having the greatest of times. He's still up there in net worth, but he needs a lot more time to grow. Quite clearly falling behind the AM here. Roshan started up. Normally, Anti-Mage, he isn't particularly fast at doing Roche, but the power of the starter cannot be underestimated. He does have Life Steal. In goes our Doom. He doesn't actually have the Doom BKB being used here to make sure he can get right onto his targets. Big Inkswell popped. Abat takes the Aegis, however, and that's it. That's all they need to do. Now turning around. Gonna be going for the Mars. Mana Void cuts him down. And Abat feeling so strong here. Jamesy as well, chasing on forward. Very mobile heroes for Cignal Ultra. A bit ballsy for Vice to try and take that fight when they didn't have the Doom, when they didn't have the Haunt, and well, the results are as you just saw. Van goes in, can't quite find the crush. Bob will survive, he will have the Doom up in just a second. But the Anti-Mage, he has finished his farming. And with Bloodlust takes that tower so incredibly fast. I'm not too sure what the plan is here. Maybe gonna be disassembling the Sanj and Yasha. Go for Heaven's Halberd. That's a pretty good choice. Bob here has the Doom, doesn't want to use it on a Rubik. Doesn't want to use it while the Rubik is alive. The Haunt now finding the Ogre Magi. They have a rough idea of where he goes. And they'll be able to take that out. But the Anti-Mage still free to do Anti-Mage things. Not going to be upset whatsoever. Bob, I think, no way he would have ever finished that Doom. Just teasing the AM there. Starting to cap. The Van is in the area, and he himself, BKB Blink, has no offensive items. This time, the Ogre is dead, so he won't be right-clicking that fast himself anyway, but does have the Anti-Mage for damage. They're sitting on top of the Dire Ward right now. Big Stomp comes in onto 2. The Doom comes out onto the Slaughter. They know that if the Slaughter doesn't get his spells off, then the Anti-Mage doesn't actually deal that much damage to Doom. He is going to get taken down. No deny happening here. A bat stunned by the Inkswell. He does have the Aegis, of course, and he will be able to blink out. But that in itself, I think, is already a win for Vice. By taking down the Slaughter, it's very hard for Cignal Ultra to be aggressive, and that's time off the Aegis that they aren't using. It's more time for the Spectre to farm. Sure, it's more time for the Anti-Mage to farm, but with the Aegis, he'd be farming anyway. The question is whether or not he's just taking towers as he farms, or whether he farms only. And so this way, their towers, they are safe. Abat, it's not like he is a basher, so he can't really go for the Doom himself. Not when the Doom is 0 mana. The AM doesn't actually deal that much damage. And we do see the Heaven's Halberd coming out here from the Anti-Mage. Definitely not your standard AM build, but I don't dislike it. I personally think Heaven's Halberd is one of the strongest items in the game, especially if you can benefit from that heal amplification.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Vice, Slardar, finally respawning.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now on the defensive. You have Cross Shield. It's not quite the same as Living Armor, but it can slow things down. They've got the Spectre on the other side of the map. Not going to be relying on the Haunt. Is going to come back home manually. The old-fashioned way. Not want to risk being split up. But Cignal Ultra don't really feel like going high ground. I can't really blame them. They don't have the safest high ground breachers fundamentally. They're mostly melee heroes. Blinking from the AM is going to break that smoke. They're right onto the Grimstroke, but they get the AM pinned against the wall. Anti-Mage taken extremely low, is stunned, will die. That's the Aegis down. Chain Frost bouncing on through, is dealing a lot of damage. Where is our Spectre? Spectre in the middle of things, trying to find the right target to go on. BKB being used here by our Doom. He doesn't have the Doom. They find a nice easy target in the Ogre Magi. that's not bad for them, elsewhere. Enrio, even with BKB, is going to get taken down. He doesn't have much else to his name, and fundamentally the anti-mage, although he can die, does put out a fair chunk of damage. So far it's a 3-for-2 trade, but they get the Doom out onto the Ember Spirit. It just came off cooldown. It should be a fairly straightforward kill onto the Ember. Last man standing is Abat. And Abat dying that early in the fight, spent a lot of time respawning from the Aegis. This was not able to put out that much damage. And that's very true if you look at the graph, actually. Dealt less damage than the Slardar as well as the Ember Spirit there. And that's very unfortunate as the AM. You know, you farm this much, you're up in net worth, and you just aren't really able to use it. And in some ways, he was the best hero to be breaking that smoke blinking in like that. But, you know, generally, when you run into a smoked up team, it does not end well for the not smoked up. And clearly, Cignal Ultra were not expecting a fight. And our Spectre, it's not been the fastest game, but you've got that Midas ticking in the whole time. Gonna be working up into a butterfly, and once you have the butterfly, it's just that much harder for the anti-mage to win against you in the straight up fight. You're still not that tanky. Only 2.5k HP, but still a lot to burn through when you have evasion. Another initiation, this time the Spear of Mars will miss. Going for the backlines once again though, the anti-mage. Hunting these supports will be defined too very easily there. BKB running out now onto our Mars before he really finds any kills. They are finally able to take down the Rubik, but it's much slower than a bat. That cleans up the enemy supports, now turning around for the course. And the Mars really, I've said this before, he doesn't have that much. All he has is the Blink, is the BKB. Now compared to the Doom, far tankier here, has the Shiva's Guard. It's going to be very hard, I think, for the anti-mage to actually take him down. Maybe not so hard when the Slardar joins up. He does have the BKB, he is going to be using the Shiva's Guard. If nothing else, he is buying a lot of time here. 1 versus 2. Jamesy looking for a fight. Not able to take anything down and using all of his remnants very haphazardly. Now up with the Yule Scepter. He does have the Axe now. Still very hard to actually lock down, but fundamentally when you're out of charges, you are just a sitting duck. But a bat gonna be coming in, blinking across the map. Jamesy's bought enough time, and that is going to be another death on our Grimstroke. If they can get the prize of Palace, this would be huge as well. Palace, that minus armor, making him so squishy there. And the buyback coming out from Enrio, it's a little bit too late. Buying back on their Spectre as well, desperately trying to hold. Mars from the front, pretty tanky, he will survive. This is still not a good scenario for them. The Spectre buyback especially really does hurt. I think the Mars you are still okay with. That is the dieback onto the Lich as well. He blew it back in the previous fight. But in some ways for the Lich, it's better to get that long respawn out of Witch. Roshan, not up just yet. It's approaching minimum timer. Bat would love to get his hands onto another Aegis. Gonna be finally going for that Basher, the more traditional route here. Now personally, I'm not too big of a fan when you get the Basher and the Scotty. They both fulfill similar roles, allowing you to stay in range of the enemy. Except that the Basher fundamentally, it's more bursty, it's a hard disable as opposed to just a slow. I'm gonna be going for a smoke up here. Cignal Ultra not waiting for Roshan. They want to get a pick off first, and they found a pretty good target in this Doom. Enryu goes in, but he cannot die here. He absolutely cannot die. He has no buyback. And all of a sudden, Cignal Ultra have been up in net worth this whole time, but they weren't really able to do much with it. The team fight wins were not convincing at all. But for the first time this game, getting onto towers with a real threat, forcing out the glyph. They will be able to negate most of that damage with their own glyph offensively. In the bat with the Bloodlust. Getting onto these towers. Absolutely shredding them. Jamesy throwing forward the remnants very aggressively. He has the Aghanim Scepter. They're going to go for the finish. They know that there is no buyback on the Mars. I think the Doom actually can have buyback. And that's what they're trying to force out here. Vice in a very tough spot. Points just going to be getting some vision here. Gets right onto the Rubik. Will be to take him down. Both supports taken down immediately by Palace, but can he survive against the cores? Chain Frost bouncing on through. So far, not finding the best bounces until we get that Soulbind. And everyone held in place. Palace now man fighting against the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage taken down, silenced the entire time. Could not get rid of that Phantom. And now Jamesy, last man standing for his team. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It's still not a clean fight there for Vice. But they can be very happy having held on and having killed the Anti-Mage. Palos chasing on here. But the Ember Spirit, I mean, he's got the Aghanim Scepter. Those remnants fly out so quickly, so far away, it's very hard to actually get that chase. But Roshan, it's close to maximum timer. Maximum timer it is. Gonna be respawning here. Our Spectre, having used that buyback, could really use an Aegis right now. And an Aegis on a Spectre, your EHP is just so damn high, especially with the evasion multiplying it. Very nice pick off to have. Could be a cheese as well. And I think Vice, it would be nice to sort of take it slow. You're not forced to go for anything. The Anti-Mage is pretty much 6-slotted. Can't really get much stronger. Whereas your Spectre still has plenty of room to grow.
Do you even practice?
So I think Vice, I would like to see them set up some nice vision, clear out the enemy wards. Consolidate. Fundamentally, they are still 10k net worth behind. All of that is on the Anti-Mage, sure, but they are still behind. Grimstroke here in some trouble. The detection already placed down. Anrio goes in, catches 2 supports. This really is how all these fights have been opening. Eris, though, he's just surviving. Grimstroke gets taken down by an aggressive Rennet forward. And now only 1 support left standing. Zenki keeping himself alive with that Ghost Scepter. Now Van went in, about nowhere to be seen. The Doom actually comes out here onto the Ember Spirit. Van doing what he can to make sure they can't chase forward, but Palace, the Haunt just came back up. Glimmercape, though, going to be keeping the Ember Spirit alive at the cost of the Slardar's life. Grims, he has blown back, has gone back in. Anti-Mage in the middle of things. Is eating a lot of stuns. Wants to go for the easy targets, but once again, Lich with the Ghost Scepter is going to be surviving. Palace extremely low, but he does have the Aegis. I think as Palace, you want to go in, you want to die. Definitely better than the rest of your team dying. You do have the Anti-Mage in that Sinister Gaze, but the AM doesn't actually last that long thanks to the status resistance. And now the Spectre, he's respawned. He's used that Aegis, but where is his team? Well, there is no team. They're all dead. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I would much rather see the Spectre die and use the Aegis first while his team is still alive. Now 1 versus 2, dead Spectre. It's all up to the Doom now. Well, actually, maybe not all up to the Doom. The Grimstroke comes in, is able to get a nice double silence off. And if they can take down this Ember Spirit once and for all, that would be a very big win. Abath is extremely low on HP. The mist coming out there. Oh boy, Heaven's Halberd, what a great item. Abath, as a result, will be able to survive. And I think that is the end of the road for Vice. They had the Aegis, they had the cheese, but they weren't really able to leverage its strength. And the Anti-Mage, low HP the entire fight, was able to fight through it all. I think he had the buyback anyway. And Cignal Ultra, they blew it back on every single hero. But they were able to take it convincingly. Only a couple seconds on the respawn here. Vice, not going to give up just yet. Abath, he's not that healthy. TPing in the Mars to the backlines, goes in. Gonna be going for Grims again, the easy target in the support here. Chain Frost bounces on through, but it's now just Van. He does have the BKB, not gonna be taking any damage there, and Jamesy with the DD. Doesn't actually deal the most damage, but it is still plenty to deal with the supports, keep them at bay. Meanwhile, Abath just working on the Ancient. Cignal, it wasn't the cleanest game for them, but they had a very clear victory condition. Get the Anti-Mage fat, and the Bat fulfilled his job perfectly. He ended up doing the heavy lifting. Cignal Ultra evening things up.
1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the best bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Siphon coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the low ground, on to 3! Zep as well as MM1 are gonna get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
Likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. It's not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. How? Brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is. Yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he doomed the Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, going to be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook, got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's light of heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, but on the side. They find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. And all the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen Vision Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
So this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Cignal, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hook shot as well. They're going to fight Cignal. The Cogs burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Cignal down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see. But CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Cignal is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal. OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find the stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex is out in the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the back line. The BKB, they're into the back line. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. Is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder! Once again, the Sunder switches to life. Arme's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. 7 from the side with a Dagon Arme, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the dieback on him? You bet your Nelly they can. Arme still very, very low. The blast will kill him off. But buyback. LGD want this now. LGD, or can they? Backing up? No, they're not. Terrorblade. BT's forward. The ball is up. Thompson needs to defend. X-Nova very visible. You've got a very, very low life Marana. But OG, they can't find the target. X-Nova, he's got the grip. He's got the control. He's got the kill. Thompson is down, but ES is up. Where the Echo slam. Oh, there it is. Forward. There's your slam. There's the dunk. There's the play. Jirax, the savior of OG.
1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Sep misses again, but there's the Infest Bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the Magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right-click down. The Exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no Infest, he has the Armlet Toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Cypher coming out, the Glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the Open Wounds will come through, they have the Kinetic Shield. There's the Black Hole, from the low ground, on to 3! Sep as well as MM1 are gonna get chewed down! 3 dead, Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd here just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the Boulder Smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the Rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Shower pops their Frederick down enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tong Fu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howell brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the Fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tong Fu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is. Yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tong Fu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he doomed the Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, going to be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the
on the line here? Vice and Cignal Ultra, the 2 last Filipino teams left in this tournament. Does also mean we'll have at least one Filipino team moving on forward, of course. Both these guys wanting to be the one. It's been an interesting set of games. Vice winning game 1 off the back of a first phase pick BPL. Whereas Cignal Ultra winning game 2 off the back of a last pick anti. So these drafts are going to be very interesting, I think. There's no saying what might come out. I'm expecting something crazy to come out at some point. Cignal Ultra starting with the Tiny is a very safe pick. The Undying, a very strong pick in the early lanes but falls off extremely quickly. Now the Venomancer, we don't see this hero pick that much, mostly because it's banned a lot of the time. Finally going to be coming through in the draft. Cignal Ultra just going with a very solid opening. As Vice, on the other hand, I mean, we saw an Undying in our previous series. If you fall behind as an Undying, you don't really have good levels, and the under-leveled Tombstone doesn't really do all that much. In fact, it does practically nothing. It deals a flat amount of damage. And, if you're not able to win early team fights, then your Undying really does fall off. Sure, if you build into full tank, you sit in the middle of a team fight, your ultimate is actually very strong into the later stages of the game. But that's about it. Everything else, until you get an Agram Scepter, your decay does not scale very well. In late game, if you do get up to an Agram Scepter, you get the 2-second cooldown on decay. In theory, that's a very strong late game that can come out. Faces Void here for Vice. It's a relatively standard pick. Not something that we necessarily see in the first phase, though. But if it does make its way through, it's very popular in the second phase. Now, the Faceless Void plus the Undying, having Chronosphere does give you time for the Tombstone to build up those zombies. There's definitely a bit of synergy there, just making targets a little squishier with the decay. That's also nice. But there are ways to deal with the Faceless Void. There are certain heroes that can do well against them. Heroes that don't mind getting Chronosphere. We often see the Sven, for example, as a popular pickup against the Void. And often the Faceless Void just doesn't have the damage to take him out in the duration of a Chronosphere. And Sven, plenty of DPS to deal with him. Plenty of follow through with the Magnum Scepter to chase down Void after Primal.
5 seconds remaining.
Cignal Ultra so far, they're just going with very standard bans on heroes that go well with the Chronosphere. Fairly likely that we'll see something like an Invoker being banned out next. It's another classic combination with the Faceless Void. And I think Vice, generally, they are going to be looking for these strong late game heroes because they have the Undying. Kind of need to make up for that. The Undying going to be the one to carry you into the mid game, carry you into the late game, where you have strong cores to do the rest. Naga Siren being taken out here, not a hero we see played that often, but can be very strong against heroes like Faceless Void, like the Undying, who have a nice team fight setup. The song effectively becomes a reset button. Chronosphere, pretend it never happened. The Tombstone, you can still attack during the song. And we're definitely in this territory where teams know each other better than I know them. So I think a lot of these weirder bans perhaps might be targeted bans based on what we know they play. Phantom Monster being taken out of the pool, I think, makes a lot of sense. The Faceless Void can do okay against the PL, but it does involve you getting a very early Maelstrom, which a lot of people don't like these days, preferring to go for the MP, which is better single target damage.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think it's quite obvious that Vice went a little more to throw into the Chronosphere. Bloodseeker with Blood Rage can do that. Blood Rage also a very nice thing to have on the Faceless Void. That extra bit of attack speed often is what it takes to allow the Void to still kill.
10 seconds
Because the Bloodseeker
remaining.
can't really contribute directly with his own right clicks.
5 seconds remaining.
And the Bloodseeker, in a way, he's very much a stand and deliver hero. Drop your ultimate, you force the enemy to fight, or at least gather around them defensively, and that's where the Undying, that's where the Faceless Void can come in. Cignal Ultra, they're quite clearly lacking in the team fight department. Got some damage coming out from the Veno. It does fall off quite quickly, played as a support. And the Tiny, likewise, early on your burst damage can be nice, and you're a great initiator once you get the Blink Dagger, but at some point that magic damage, it will fall off. Lich coming out here, it's a very safe pick. Does go quite well against the Faceless Void.
5 seconds remaining.
Bit of an interesting mechanic there, the Faceless Void. Your bash does deal magical damage, but it is reduced by the Lich shield because despite being magical, it's considered part of his attack damage. Don't really have anything to combo it with, nothing like the Grimstroke, which we saw last game. Combination there was quite nice, but ultimately was not enough. For the Rubik, there aren't really that many obvious spells to steal. I mean, none of the Venomancer spells seem particular. Poison Nova is not bad, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Tiny spells as well, just by themselves don't actually do that much. It's the combination of the Avalanche and the Toss. Strong. I guess the legit spells aren't bad, especially if you get an Aether Lens. Then the cast range on the Frost Blast, much stronger. I'm actually not too sure how playboards work. They're stolen by Ruben. I actually have no idea. By the way, standing the game. It really depends on how it was specifically coded. Alchemist coming out though, this is an interesting one. This is something we have not seen in a very long time. I feel like it is very much an bat hero, a hero who likes to farm, likes to outscale his opponents. Alchemist can be very vulnerable during the early mid stage of the game. But as it stands, Vice, they don't really have that extra bit of burst damage to take down an Alk and a Chronosphere. I think Basis Void alone, even with a Bloodseeker, might struggle a bit.
10 seconds remaining.
Cignal Ultra taking out the Ancient Apparition. That's one of the classic counters here to the Alchemist. But I don't think that's necessarily what Vice would go for. I think the Invoker is still a very good option for them. Morphling is also a possibility in my opinion. And then you have heroes like Queen of Pain giving you that burst damage. So you don't scale too well into late game. I think Pop could be a very good pick. Yeah. As far as bans, I think Cignal Ultra probably looking for someone who can fight early. Pop for them could be quite nice. That extra bit of damage to finish people off while the Venomancer lays into them with yes. Templar Assassin, similar hero. Obviously, you do have to think, if the game goes super late, Aghanim Scepters start going left, right, and center from the Alchemist. It's always a bit of a consideration as well.
Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Cignal Ultra are indeed going to take that Quap. Pretty good pick for themselves. Just that nice early fighter who allows the Alchemist space to farm. And now against the Quap, we'll see how Vice choose to draft from here. I think the Invoker is by far the most default option, but default doesn't necessarily mean good.
5 seconds.
I think you are looking for a ranged hero in the end. Maybe the Lina. I think Lina has a decent matchup into the Quap. Invoker maybe not so much. Definitely looking for some damage. Oh, going with Puck here. Well, Vice, it gives them a lot of team fight, gives them a lot of lockdown, but just in terms of the raw single target damage, it's pretty much all up the Faceless Void. So Palace, he has to make sure he's up there in farm. And this is no easy game for him. He's gonna have to put out enough damage to cut through an Alchemist while he has a Lich protecting him with that shield. It's actually going to be Jamesy playing the Tiny with ban on the Venomancer. So is this going to be an off-lane Venomancer with a mid-Tiny? That would certainly be very interesting. Vice, they're going with the expected lane setup, full setup, so we'll see if they decide to make any adjustments. Now, fundamentally, the Puck, I think they picked for the good matchup into the Queen of Pain. It's nearly impossible for the Quap to deal damage to the Puck just because of the one spell known as Spaceship. And in fact, you can even dodge the dagger by using illusory orb. You just go into short distance. And so with that in mind, Cignal Ultra, I think they originally did want to run Queen of Pain in the mid lane. They saw the hard counter in the puck and they said no thanks. The puck later on, you really do counter the mobility of the quap. With your Dream Coil, you just cannot blink while you're in it. Now, there isn't really that much obvious synergy between the puck and the Faceless Void, but both of these heroes go very well with what else that they have to offer. They both go very well with the Undying Tombstone, they both go very well with the Bloodseeker's Bloodright. Again, just the one concern that I have is the roll right click DPS that can come out from Faceless Void. He's going to need to do a lot of work. And as the Void, traditionally there are two openers. You either go for Mask of Madness, or you go for the Hand of Might. You generally don't see people go for both. And whichever it is he chooses to go for, I think will have a very big impact in the game. Do you try and outscale the Alchemist, GPM for GPM, or do you try and take the fight to him or get that DPS going on? Vice here, going to be going in with 3 heroes now. I think this is a very big part of their mind game, actually, is making sure that they show Enryu in the bottom lane. The Faceless Void just hiding in the trees there. I think they're quite deliberately looking for a lane swap.
30 seconds to battle.
Fundamentally, they are never going to get the matchup of the puck into the top that they wanted. Iris likely going to be playing it as a support with Van 4. I suppose their thinking is that it's better to have built-in sustain coming out from the Bloodseeker against the constant harass that you're going to be getting from both the Venom and the Queen of Pain here. Grimm's going to be taking a lot of damage. Does have a Frost Blast. They're trying for the body blocks here. Got another decay coming out. Grimm's, I think they can actually force him away from the lane. They're going to have to cut him off. But no, they're just going to be going with the lane swap again. They know very clearly that they do not want to have Faceless Void against the Venom against the team. Mans are moving down bottom. That movement was spotted out. They get the confirmation. Ward, and they say yes. One Void top. In the meantime, there was absolutely no one getting EXP in the bottom lane other than Samael. That's not bad for him. Rubik, you always appreciate having an early EXP lead. Now we are seeing the Veno TP up top. Is able to get a very nice Gale out onto the Undying. You have all the slows coming out. Zenki able to get a fat, juicy decay, however. We'll see if it's enough to keep him alive. 3 heroes chasing him, and you can't really do much to help. That's going to be first blood. Also means he's not going to have the TP out. It's a bit unfortunate. But they do get the matchup they preferred here. Palace versus Bat. Obviously, every single deny against the Alchemist does count for a lot. I am somewhat worried, though, that once the Acid Spray comes out, the Faceless Void as a melee hero won't be able to sit there and take it. Just gonna have to let the Alchemist spray out the wave, push out, and he's gonna blast it under tower. Not that it's necessarily a bad place to be as a Faceless Void, but it's a very good place for the Alchemist. But right now, the Alchemist is very much struggling in terms of Blasted Palace, putting more attention into denies than Blasted, and you really gotta fear a few of them. Trying to get onto the Lich here, lift up. Frost Shield will expire. Samael, taken extremely low, does not want to be feeding over kills to the Alchemist, but the Alchemist doesn't seem to have the movement speed. And the Bat, thanks to his effort chasing, he will go down. 3 kills across the board, losing the Tiny in the mid lane as well as solo kill there for our Puck. Already a very good start by him. Alchemist, much like the Anti-Mage, yes, you can play from behind, but if you get ahead, as he was in the last game, he is an absolute monster. And of course, having respawned, you're not going to be going with those things. They hate those lanes. Want to have the Alchemist up here. They want to have Van shutting down the Faceless Void, but it's going to be very hard under this paradigm in Faceless Void. 6 and 9 on the last hit sent knife. That's kind of insane. He's got this huge wave under his tower. It's going to be the tri-lane once again, Cignal Ultra, leaving the Venomancer to his own devices. Really just want to make sure that the Alchemist gets as fat as he can. Now there are 2 ways to do this. One is you secure last guys in lane, the other is you go for big creep stacks. Now Vice, they aren't the sort of team who are going to let big stacks go untouched. They are always going to contest that. And as it happens, the heroes in Cignal Ultra aren't very good at stacking multiple camps. I suppose the co-op is decent, but you have to use your spells, your attacks, as well as the blink to get it going. In theory, you can stack 3 camps. But it's a lot of mana, it's very long cooldowns early on, and it's often not worth doing level 3. Still, they are able to secure farm onto their Alchemist. Nice count for him as well, working up that gold from the passive. And the Bloodseeker, I mean, 1 versus 3, it's, again, no surprise that he's unable to find too much. Bottom lane, they commit the Tombstone here, time walk forward. Lots of slows coming out here onto the Venomancer. Looking for a bash, Eris comes in. Doesn't really have the same defensive ability. We're finally going to get a bash here. And the mana for the Poison Gale came out just a little bit too late. Rune time, Enryu looking to steal a base against Grimm's, able to take both runes up top, and well, they're able to snag 1 at the Queen of Pain, but of course every single bounty rune does matter when you have the Alchemist on your team. Tiny going down again. I'm not too sure what happened there. I am missing all these kills because I'm not expecting them to happen. I really do not expect the Puck to be getting solo kills onto it. As it stands, Vice holding up a pretty sizable lead in the mid lane CS as well as those kills. And their Faceless Void is doing extremely well too. Now it's just a matter of shutting down the Alchemist. They have killed him once. The lane swaps haven't been ideal for him. But I wouldn't say that he's not a threat. Still needs a lot of work here. Zenki being annoying. As I was saying, you know, the Vice, they're not the kind of team who will allow the enemy to go into the jungle and make stacks for their Alchemists. But this time they run into the Veno. Kind of hard to punish that. Faceless Void is level 6. Had a pretty good time so far. Though he doesn't have the damage he needs to kill someone in Chrono. Does need a little bit of help maybe from dying. Jamesy once again taken low. The Dream Coil is back up. Eris so far really hasn't done too much on the Queen of Pain. I don't think we've seen anything that the co-op can do that no other support could have done. But I think putting the co-op as a support wasn't really an ideal choice there. For Cignal Ultra was something that they were forced into after seeing, okay, on the Puck. Now the Puck, you're going to be using the Green Call. They do have the Undying coming in as well. Jamesy, really not much he can do. The TP support didn't come out in time. That is the 3rd death of our mid-time. A Bat, he picks up a pretty nice neutral item, arguably the best neutral item for an Alchemist at this point in the game. And the jungle wars begin. D-ward for D-ward. And the Undying just trying to be as annoying as possible. Grims, he's not taking that much damage. Able to pull in the puck and will get taken down. Going a little too far there. Jamesy will be able to get his revenge. They still have to deal with Zenki. He's going to have Decay very soon. Soul Rip doesn't actually deal much damage because there's no units nearby. His main mission here is to interfere with the farming of the Alchemist, and he has done that. Alchemist, 8 minutes in, you're still not top net worth. That's not great. Faces Void, I believe he has a Chronos here up top to take down the Venomancer. That's something. And he is indeed struggling to fight inside the Alchemist's Acid Spray, but once the Acid Spray runs out, the Alchemist, all he has is the ultimate. And really all they're doing right now is making sure that a bat has a lane to farm in. On farming bottom, he goes up top. Thing is, now he clearly cannot farm in the jungle. They're all being blocked out. And Van, honestly, he's not been having a great time. He's supposed to be their offlaner, quite clearly bottom of net worth out of all of the cores. Only barely ahead of the Queen of Pain here, and that's just because they haven't been putting any effort in securing his lane. It's all about the Alchemist. Nothing else matters. Bob, you're going to be eating a lot of damage. Does not have his mobility up yet. We'll finally be able to get the illusory orb out. Now, he won't be going down just yet. Ooh. Missing uphill, I think, with that. Plague Ward might have saved our puck's life. Plague Ward itself does deal a fair bit of damage, but it also refreshes poison. Pretty close there. Tombstone being dropped. I think he won't really get much use out of it. Palace goes in, tries to deny it. If he was successful, I suppose that's something. But any slightly better trade, any kill, even when nothing happens or when it's an even trade, is good for the Alchemist. That's what it's all going to be about. Alchemist going to be going for the battle period here. That's a good thing. Basis Void goes in. They use the Dream Coil for that. Able to kill 2 supports. Thinky now on another jungle war trip, looking to block out as many camps as possible. Sees a bat there. Does have a couple more sentries up. Jamesy with a DD coming in. Basis Void actually does have the Chronosphere. Very hard to kill in the treat, but Jamesy able to close the distance. He has just time walked. He will have to use the Chrono here. Gets a very nice couple of bashes onto Grims. Grims taken out of the picture. Palace not going to be taken down, is able to time walk out of there. And of course, our puck being left behind. Jamesy, if only he had a TP, could have gotten out of there, but unfortunately for him, won't be able to do any of that. Queen of Pain comes in, though. They do get the finish onto one of these kills. Eris, can he go for more, though? It's just a pop. He doesn't have any points into the screen. Now leashed up by the Dream Coil. Palace kind of getting kited around here. And somehow, actually, the puck goes down to the poison of the Queen of Pain. So much DOT, and now I think even the Palace has to be careful. Not going to get taken down just yet. Queen of Pain has a blink in just a couple of seconds. Palace shows himself. He is going to be dead meat. Eris, he's hunting. He's just a support. It's well worth giving up his life and get a kill onto the position 1. Rubik stealing the blink. That's actually a pretty nice spell to steal. Palace, seeing the pop so low, he's more confident to go back in. And meanwhile, again, these jungle wars. It's not the fastest battle free for an Alchemist, but 12 minutes still is a very respectful time. Is finally claiming that top network spot. Faces Void not too far behind him. Rupture comes out here onto Van. Van gonna be eating a lot of damage from that Rupture. Is able to avoid the Blood Rites at least. With the Queen of Pain coming in, they're looking to turn things around. Plague Ward still dealing plenty of damage. So much slow coming out. Now with a Frost Shield there as well. But Samael, he's not dead just yet. Cignal comes out onto a couple of heroes. They have the Undying joining the fight as well. Tombstone doing a lot of work. They can't quite kill it due to the high ground misses. It will eventually go down. The Lich gets a nice couple of frost bounces as well. So far it's a 2-for-1 trade. Palos joining the fight, but he does not have the Chronosphere. Tiny is a very valuable kill with the Queen of Pain going in. Along with Grims, they're kiting around this Undying so effectively. And they're Tiny. Somehow he's still not dead just yet. Does have the TP up finally. Could try for a cheeky TP if he doesn't believe the bash is going to happen. He is surviving for now, trying to walk on out of there, but Enryu has respawned. They have vision off Jamesy and the chase forward. Enryu definitely going to be loving this kind of situation, but the tosses, the avalanches. How is Jamesy not dead yet? Even getting the heals from Eris, he will eventually go down to Bob. That was a lot of effort. Queen of Pain ruptured, just TP's back to base, no problems there. And this whole time, the Alchemist was uninvolved. He was still farming. And you do still have to be careful as the Alch. I mean, fundamentally, the battle for you does not make you any tankier. 14 minutes into the game, you're a hero who has 1.6 gauge. If they burst you down before your regen comes into play, then all of your farm means absolutely nothing. They'll need a lot more space on this Alchemist to grow. Whereas Vice, they've got most of what they need. Palace, he's got his Massive Madness, he's got the Chronosphere back up. Probably gonna try for something in the near future. But the Great Wall of Playboards is doing a pretty good job of holding the line. You're very much designed to slow things down. Very hard to fight into. That's what Cignal Ultra are counting on. Smoke up here from Vice, they've had enough. Want to take the fight. Obviously, their best target would be the Alchemist. They do scan him out. It's kind of hard for them to make that movement. They don't necessarily have to kill the Alch. If they get a couple of convincing kills out of Cignal Ultra, they can just go for these towers, and that's not bad either. So far, just laying down some offensive vision. The Pug, he has Blink Dagger, going to be using it here onto the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain breaking the tether, is going to get silenced. He's going to have Rubik there, stealing her spells. That is the Blink. Vice, they do find what they wanted, but not the best target they could have gone for. Even just finding the Tiny, delaying that Blink Dagger even further would be nice. And it's not like they've closed out the space for our Alchemist to farm. We're going to be seeing a Chronosphere. It's only onto the Tiny, but this is a very worthwhile kill if they can get it. Will indeed be the case. Still holding onto the Tombstone here. A Bat joins the fight. Palos, very low on mana, does have enough mana for one more Time Walk. Does have the Sick as well. Everyone going to be disengaging successfully. Except, of course, our tank. Bit unfortunate for him there, being the one to tank that gank, but it is still better than your Alchemist, and your Alchemist is doing wonderfully. Bob with Haste Rune has the Cignal up in just a second, playing tag with a couple of supports here. Is very slow, is able to dodge out with that phase shift though. But here comes a Bat BKB, runs right onto our Puck. Not quite dead just yet, does have the Blink Dagger, eventually will fall. Tombstone on the high ground, very hard to deal with here. The supports doing their best to take it out, and they will be successful before they get too many zombies on themselves. It's a 2-for-1 trade toss forward here. A Bat no longer has his BKB, but with his ultimate running is pretty strong. Queen of Pain able to roll down one more kill there. Now Palos, what has he got himself into? He doesn't have the Chronosphere, doesn't have it for a very long time. 1 versus 4, it's an ultra kill here for a Bat. And the Alchemist, I mean, mission accomplished. You got up to that minimum viable product. You get your Battlefield, you get your BKB, and you can go for a fight. And you really don't have to go for a fight, but he chose a very good moment to do so while the Chronosphere was down, while the Puck was a bit out of position. I am somewhat surprised that the Puck actually died there. Hope between the Blink Dagger and phase shift, he'd have enough mobility to survive, but Well, instead, Vice, they find themselves down 4k net worth, which is kind of to be expected when you're playing against an Alchemist. It's really not that dire as it stands. But it's very important for them to keep farm parity on their Faceless Void. You do not want him to fall behind. You want him to stay relevant, be a threat to the Alchemist. Now Van, without a doubt, he is going to fall off quite hard. At this point, really just being a glorified forward carrier, probably going to be finishing up his fight. Puck taking a lot of damage here, but Eris can't quite find a finish. Jamesy, he has that Blink Dagger, but Bob spotting him out will not be put by that. Oh, look at that. Lich digs up a bounty ring. Alchemist left that. Queen of Pain goes in. Rubik steals the Plague Ward. Not really the best spell, and Jamesy with the blink to the finish. But Eris, he's going for more, does have to be a bit careful. Bloodseeker is someone you don't really want to mess with. He's able to blink after, but will have his TP interrupted there by the puck. He actually did the trick where you move after you get ruptured, and then you blink and you don't actually take damage from the rupture. That didn't work, but they forced out the Dream Call. They got a lot of good vision, knowing that the enemy team was there, knowing that they're not around to contest Roshan. And the Alchemist, not really the fastest here when it comes to taking Roshan, but when you have the AC, that really speeds things up, giving him that extra bit of minus armor. And Cignal Ultra, the lead will continue. Bob taking a lot of damage here, does have the orb, will be able to get to the high ground. I don't think he'll go down. Gonna be pretty close though. Will they have to deny him? Trying his best to survive here. But Undying comes in with save. Chronosphere, their palace, able to take down the Queen of Pain, but is that worth it? Queen of Pain just the supports, and Jamesy looking to even things out. Very tanky on the Rubik though, not actually taking any damage from the Tiny there. Now Tiny is going to be eating that Rupture. This is a very big kill, but the bat, he is nearby. He's got that AC. He's so damn strong right now. And look at that minus armor coming out onto the Undying. He was at minus 12 at some point. Big Dream Coil comes out, but they still have not managed to finish off the Tiny. Fundamentally, Vice, without the Chronosphere, was it being used on to just the support? They just didn't have that staying power left in the team fight, and now Bob has found himself in a difficult position. He does have a Blink Dagger. Grim's actually prioritizing that gold from the bounty instead of getting the control out onto the puck. They are chasing forward the toss board here, Grims. He does have the Sinister Gaze. Can they find the puck? No. Blinks out of it. Rubik a much easier target, but they're not going to go too deep. Fundamentally, the game still is looking pretty good for them with the Alchemist being as far ahead as he is. Solid 8k gold ahead of his counterpart there. You know, 4k, 5k, all within the realm of expectation, but 8k really is pushing it this early into the game. Now, all of that net worth lead really is onto this Alchemist. The rest of his team isn't doing so well. They are getting kills here and there, but they're often not that clean. Oh, Rupture coming out here onto Van, but here comes the big bad Alk. Just a little man riding a big ogre. Bloodseeker gonna get stunned. But the Alchemist not really wanting to commit too far. I think that's okay. The rest of the team joining up here, gonna be cleaning up that tombstone. Of course, plenty of gold there for the Alchemist. Loves having these zombies. And meanwhile, our Faceless Void, I mean, he's got that MKB. That is a large amount of damage. And maybe with some help from the Bloodseeker, we get that Blood Rage. Maybe you can take down the Alchemist in a Chronosphere. But I don't think you can do that if he's got his ultimate up. Not until they have the Spirit Vessel reducing heal, and I don't think they have anyone building that right now. This time around, Jamesy, he will get bursted down, but it does cost him the Dream Coil. All the mana on the puck, they're not looking for a fight. Fundamentally, the Alchemist, he has the Aegis, no reason to fight into that. It's going to expire very soon. Around a minute left on that. For Cignal Ultra, they're not looking to end the game as long as their Alchemist is farming faster than the enemy, which is almost a given. He's practically doubling up the enemy in net worth now.
Dire's courier has been killed. Is under attack. Radiant structures are
But continuing the warpath, Bobby's healed back up his mana. Not have Green Coil up yet to them. Alchemist taking a lot of damage, but he's still holding onto his ultimate. He's actually very happy in a situation like this. Where he doesn't go down, he doesn't use the Aegis. It's only a minute cooldown on the ult. He's very happy to continue farming.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Puck is going to get caught out here. Does have Blink Dagger still available. I think he's going to be fine. Meanwhile, Alchemist fighting one versus God knows how many, but he's not losing just yet. He has the Frost Shield, but he eventually will go down there. In the end, there was so much attention on the Puck. I mean, I was looking down to the rest of his team coming in, but already it is a loss for them. Faceless Void goes in. He doesn't have the Chronos here. Nice Dream Kill onto 2, however. Palace, does he have the damage output here? He needs a couple of bashes to take down the pop. Big heal coming out from the Undying. Palace, he should be able to fight his way through this. Jamesy, his blink is going to get cancelled by the Puck. Nearly takes down Palace, but he will be fine eventually. It ends up as a 1-for-4 trade here. And losing the Alchemist is absolutely massive. I mean, I wasn't paying attention because I was watching the Puck, and that's the same as what Cignal Ultra were doing. They only had their supports there, the tiny at the top, they weren't around. And well, our Alchemist is not quite indestructible. I do like the Eye of Scotty choice here from our Faces Void. Healing reduction, a very big deal. On the other hand, the Alchemist, he's about to hit his 6th slot, and from there, you really can't throw that much. Sure, the Aghanim Scepter is great, sure. You give it to other people, Moonshard, yada buy all the sentries for your team, etc. But your main hero, that's about as strong as you will ever get. And Vice, only 6k behind. 6k is a lot, but if you take out the Alchemist, they're actually ahead. 10k net worth lead here for the Alchemist on top of the Faceless Void, but everyone else is really struggling. The Tiny, well, he's kind of reached the end of his lifespan as a nuker. Not really getting any stronger. The spells, it's not like his right click is full. So Vice, I think they're in a pretty good place. The next Roshan coming up is going to be a very important point. It's going to be a long Roshan timer. 2 minutes after the minimum timer is as long as we get. So Vice gonna have a lot more room to farm. Although Palos here, he's found himself in an interesting position, not using the BKB TP. Just about that. And Iris, frankly, on the Queen of Pain, he's not been having the best time. He's been dying a lot, but at the same time, you can say he's been focusing a lot of attention on himself. And that has allowed the Alchemist to farm, but we're really reaching the point where the pop kind of falls off without any real items. Your survivability with just the Yule Scepter is questionable. You don't have any offensive power without an Orchid. You really are just a flying paperweight. Well, gonna be blinking right in onto our Bloodseeker. This is nice, but this is the issue that we're talking about. He gets taken down so easily. Queen of Pain, Abyssal Blade right onto him. He won't go down just yet. He will get the ultimate out in time. But now the Alchemist is stuck in a bit of a weird position. Tombstone going to be very hard to take down in the trees there. Henry, he hasn't quite died just yet. Extremely low. We'll be able to get out of there for now. Does have the poison running, so for Vice have not lost anything in the bat. He no longer has his ultimate. If they want to fight, I think now is the time. Finally, Palos coming in with the TP. This could be a very big Chronosphere. Is able to catch two just on the edge there. The Alchemist does get his BKB off in time. That definitely does help. But he's going to be stunned the second he comes out of it. Do they have enough damage to take him down? Still no ultimate here for a bat. And the Faceless Void comes in, gets the bash, finishes the job, and now Van left by himself. The Lich, he gave a very nice farewell present there. Pretty big Chain Frost coming out from him. They were eventually able to take down the puck, but I mean, already the team fight is lost. No matter what happens, even if they kill the Faceless Void, it is still a lost team fight because they have died on their Alchemist. And well, Roshan not up just yet. That's very fortunate. Tiny goes in, gets the assassination. I suppose that's something, but really, what more can you do? As we saw earlier, he struggles to take out the bot. Oh, Roshan respawning. Vice able to take that. Oh, just 40 seconds in their window. Eris, of course, doing anything he can to slow things down. Our Faceless Void a bit low on mana here, but he does have a couple of spells. Nice blink out from Eris once again. Going to be keeping himself alive. Yule Scepter, buying as much time as possible. Can he do the blink again? Yes, he can. He runs into a Rubik. It's not easy to get the timing off, and a big kill there, just as I was saying, as the timing is falling off. They're able to get the Faceless Void, and just like that, this game goes right back into Cignal Ultra's favor. The second the Alchemist respawns, he's going to be heading right into that Roshan pit, going to be getting a very nice juicy Aegis for himself, as well as a cheat. And I think you want to have both of those items on the Alchemist. You have cheese swapping it in after Aegis. Well, then you have a very big problem with your Vice. They were able to take down the Alchemist using the Chronosphere when he didn't have his ultimate. But as it stands, without the full Scotty, they have no way of slowing down that healing. That's still no way of reducing that on their team just yet. Tuck here has found a Tiny trapped inside. He will be able to dodge out the bug, but it's only a matter of time before he goes down. And our Alchemist, well, thank you for your sacrifice, Jamesy. I shall take this Aegis in your name. He's going to be very happy with that. Now, as the Alchemist, as we're saying, you are approaching that 6 slot point. Can't really grow from here, so not really the time to farm. I think now is the time for action. Action we shall get. Vice, they have their Chronosphere back up. Now, I don't know if you want to buy the Scotty over buyback here in the Faceless Void. It's a very big risk either way. You can try to go for a fight without the Scotty, and if you try to go for a fight without your buyback. Fortunately for them, the Alchemist not looking to end the game just yet. They will have a couple more minutes to reach that farm. He will indeed go for the Scotty. I suppose as the Void, if you don't have your ultimate, there's not much point buying back anyway. with this back, he has to be very careful. Healing reduction also applies to the Satanic as well. The rest of the team smoked up behind him. Abat, he's very strong. He has the Abyssal, can jump onto anyone there, make use of that DD very easily. But Vice, they're going for the split push play. Eventually, though, they are going to have to come home, deal with this fed Alchemist. Thinking about using the Rupture there. But really, what's the point when the Alchemist has his ultimate run? See that he has the Satanic as well. They know that he is pretty much impossible to take down. Not when he has the Aegis, not when he has his ultimate. Maybe without the ultimate, though, they might have a chance of getting rid of that. Now, the big smoke up here. Long lift from Rubik. Extra range. Rupture comes out, but they haven't been able to find anything just yet. 20 seconds until the Chemical Rage is back up. They will find him with the puck here. Puck goes in. They will be able to take him down. Jamesy looking for revenge, but the puck, he's just a little bit too tanky. And now respawning into the Chronosphere. No ultimate, of course, for the Alchemist just yet. And he will get lifted up, will get bashed down. And Palace with the healing reduction from the Scotty doing so much damage. That MKB as well, the bash is being put to work. And from here, it's a very easy chase. Very, very fat Undying, very big Undying. Applying that slow, applying that damage amplification and bites. Finding success, even though they are down so far in net worth. And in fact, that's not even true anymore. It's only a 2k net worth advantage here for Cignal Ultra. And it all comes back to that one fight. That one fight when everyone was chasing the puck and the Alchemist was left by himself and ended up dying. And with the Alchemist, you really rely so much on the momentum of your hero. You need to be ahead. And if you're not, well, I mean, as we see, Vice, they knew they couldn't kill him while he had his ultimate up, and all they did was wait it out. They lost their tier 3 tower as a result, but well worth it because of the fight they took afterwards. Preemptive Tombstone being dropped at Vice. Know that they're in a good position. They're daring the Alchemist to come in, and the Alchemist, well, he can't get any stronger. They only give the Agnum Scepters away. Palos with the BKB. Very happy to sit in front. Still, they're slowing him down, doing what they can. Jamesy coming in just going to get the toss here. I don't think they can actually kill the Faceless Void, but they're certainly going to try. Big Dream Coil comes out here onto free heroes. Not that much follow-up, but that's alright. It's just a zoning Dream Coil to make sure they can secure that melee Rex. Chain Frost comes on free. Doesn't really do much. The puck, very much a slow hero. As long as he has his mobility, he'll be fine. You're just trying to wiggle your way out of there. Your base movement speed, it's never going to happen, not when you're slowed by the Venno, but I mean, so many times our puck, he's been close to death. And sometimes he escapes, sometimes he doesn't, but always he's attracting so much attention to himself, he's being annoying. And while he doesn't really have damage to take down an Alchemist, while the Chemical Rage is still running, he doesn't really have the damage to really nuke down a tiny that effectively, not by himself. He's really setting things up for his team. Fight in a pretty good position right now. Net worth is still even, but well, other than the Alchemist, they really just don't have that much on Cignal Ultra's side. The Tiny offers the same damage that he was giving 10 minutes ago. It's not like his status has improved. He's just a little harder to kill as more mobility item about it. And bang, fundamentally the Venomancer just falls off, end of story. But this is also Venomancer who's behind, under-leveled, under-farmed the bat. They're going to be looking for a kill. They know that they can't just sit back. It's a better state here for Vice. They are going to get right on top of the Undying. They can't quite take him out. Very long stun coming here onto a bat. Bat finally turning on the BKB, finally turning on the Chemical Rage. Now trying to man fight here against Palace. Palace realizes he cannot take that fight, not without the Chronosphere. He is looking for one. Lots of group together heroes. They don't quite have the best vision here. Puck going in, going to be providing that vision. Palos with the time ball forward, still not finding the right target. Instead, he will settle for a kill onto the Lich. That's both supports down. Now with that, Chemical Rage has run out now. Gonna be taking a lot of damage from that Dagon. Abyssal Blade reflected onto himself, and the puck able to get the finish. This Void somehow still holding onto Chronosphere the entire time. Is gonna time walk forward, gets a bash right onto the Venomancer's face. Now throwing him in, do have to be a bit careful here as the Void, he's not gonna go down. Now the Chronosphere finally coming out. They are able to catch out the Tiny, but I don't think they have the damage to deal with the Alchemist. He's gonna have his ultimate up in just a second here. It is a very costly hold, but I think Cignal Ultra, they should be fine. Faces Void going on. Raptor comes out onto the Alchemist, he fights her, he does not care. He still has the Abyssal Blade actually. Can they bash down this Void? They will be able to, using the Abyssal Blade at the last second, and Palace has gone a little bit too far it seems. I mean, frankly, I find it doubtful that they could have found anything in that engagement because of the buyback from the Alchemist. I think the Alchemist fighting back, you can be very happy with that. No need to push it any further. Instead, they overstay, they lose their Faceless Void. Signal Ultra, they have a fighting chance in this game just yet. Down 9k, absolutely terrible when you have the Alchemist. But hey, maybe eventually the Venomancer can scale into a right-click core. I don't know. Maybe eventually the Queen of Pain, once you hit level 25, you have that extra bit of control. Or maybe you too can scale into a right-click core. If you give the Aghanim Scepter over to the Pop, it's a low cooldown on the ultimate. You can clear out Duke Waves very effectively. It's very nice to stall out the game in that way. And fundamentally, fighting high ground, yes, the Venomancer has fallen off, but just stacking up the play boards, especially later on when you get talents, Venom can still be a nice layer of defense like that. Of course, Signal Ultra, they're not in a good position. In fact, they're in a terrible position, and they do realize that. They're not going to sit back, they're not going to farm, they're just going to try and close out the game for some buybacks, if nothing else. Finally getting onto these mid-racks. They've been exposed for a very long time here. Have not gone down just yet. Puck once again running interference. We've seen this before. And the last time we saw this, the Alchemist was gone on. This time though, without the Faceless Void, they don't really have what it takes. But Bob, is he really going to be able to get the solo kill here? Dagon 5. Not only does it deal a lot of damage, but it's a very short cooldown. And he's just zapping him. He's just one-man army. Of course, the other one-man army here, Abat, should be able to TP out successfully. And frankly, Vice only getting one kill there. Finally getting two. Bob putting in the work himself. Carrying his team there. Able to take down two supports. Now that is quite significant. Because this is going to be timed potentially when Roshan is up, where it cannot be contested. It's more space for the Faceless Void to grow. And again, Signal Ultra, we weren't quite able to finish off that melee rack, which is a bit of a shame. But I don't think the racks itself means that much. It's just about that extra gold going to the heroes which are not the Alchemist. The Alchemist is going to be going for a Divine Rapier, and I do like that. We are reaching that desperation point, I think. Also reaching the point where tier 4 items come out. Could be some big ones here. Any of the damage dealing ones, the leveler I think is very good for Faceless Void. And likewise, items like the Timeless Relic can be amazing for the top. Even the Spell Prism, plenty of ways to use that. And that's going to be it. Aghanim Shard also given over to the Faceless Void. It's a very good item for him. Solo kill here, Bob. My goodness. Dagon E-Blade Puck. But Dagon E-Blade But that is the Divine Rapier being completed here by our Alchemist. He has his level 25 talent, which really makes him that much harder to kill. And so he can get right onto his targets. Does have to be very careful. Now, I actually don't like the fact that he used his ultimate there. I think Vice figured out that they just need to kite out this ult. And the Alchemist, his damage, the reduced base attack time really is affected. And it's not just the survivability from the regen. And this puck, constantly poking at them, you can't afford to make those moves. Queen of Pain here, gonna get zapped down once again. No buyback on her. And again, it's not like she really was contributing that much to the game. I think her items are more useful than the hero itself. Now, the Alchemist, he does have his ultimate up in a couple of seconds. Just going to be doing a good job defending. You can take a lot of creeps coming into your wave. Oh god, man, I'm just missing these kills. Bobby's everywhere. Buyback coming out here, 4 versus 5. I think it's the best fight they can possibly ever take. The Alchemist, he's got his ultimate. He's being more conservative with it now. I do like this. In we go, Time Walk here. Able to get the Chronosphere out the toss. Defensively, he tosses him out of the Chronosphere. Now a bat. He wasn't able to use his ultimate though. Oh god. He still gets taken down in the end, but that was a very big play coming out there. That's going to be GG called. Oh, I nearly got the chills from that one. But in the end, I mean, Vice, they sat through it all. They outlasted the Alchemist. The Alchemist, he peaked very early. And from there was just no more room to grow, and one bad fight is all it takes. Alchemist, always a big risk, but very nearly got it done. Unfortunately for Cignal Ultra, that means they're going to be out of the tournament. They made it very far last season, making it all the way to the finals. We'll see if Vice, their Filipino brethren, will be able to carry that torch on. They've got a date tomorrow up against Sumi Esports.